ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Super Standard Show match here. We have got four fantastic players ready to rock and roll, and I am Creighton Olsen, joined by possibly the greatest co-caster in all of esports history. Tell me who you are.
That's right, I am Gravity620! You guys can call me Gravity.
You're cutting out a little bit there, Gravity, but hopefully you can maybe fix that in your mic settings or something.
Yeah, let me see what's going on here. I think maybe I just wasn't close enough to my...
It sounds like you're all right now, so maybe keep that mic real close, and we will get ready to roll here in just 1 minute. We're going to start off today. I just want to really quickly go through who we've got today. Our first match is going to be a best of 5 with Asuna and Starkiller, and then our second match, also a best of 5 with Pacomike and Percival. What do you think? Any big favorites that stand out today for you, Gravity?
Man, Starkiller is always a favorite, as well as Asuna. I mean, I've just seen them play so much lately. Pereira is definitely one of those players to watch out for. He's not even playing, he's casting. What am I even talking about? He's definitely a player to look out for, but you won't have to look out for him in this event. But no, Starkiller and Asuna is definitely two of the big names that I like to watch. Starkiller, he has kind of his own special style, his own special builds that he likes to do, and if you're not prepared for him, if you don't scout it out quick enough and prepare, he's going to get on top of you. So I'm interested to see, these two players that we're getting ready to have, obviously, the teammates and stuff like that, so they kind of know each other's styles. I think it's going to be an interesting one, regardless of who's playing today.
Well, rock and roll. With that, I couldn't have introduced anybody any better myself. Let's go ahead and get started, man. You'll hear that countdown sound going on, and I expect the chat will let us know how things are going over there. I should probably pull that up in another window just to be able to keep an eye on the chat. But otherwise, we're going to get into our very first match here between Starkiller and Asuna.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, I think these guys are pretty evenly matched. Like, I really do love it when there is not a huge favorite, right? When sometimes we have these show matches and they're not always the most evenly matched. But in this case, I think it's probably pretty reasonable to expect that these players are gonna give each other a real run for each other's money.
Definitely. I would think that Starkiller might have a little bit of an advantage. His EVP is really well. So I think he might have a little bit of a favorite for me coming into this matchup, but I think overall it's going to be very close.
Okay, Gravity, apparently we can't hear you. Let me try and fix that really quickly.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, we'll try and fix you and fix the server at the same time. Sorry, guys, a couple little technical difficulties here. We're going to try and get these things sorted out. I got to get on the central server.
Get all the testing and stuff done, and it's like, okay, things are good. And then whenever you go live, it seems like everything that was working right wants to fall apart.
All right, let me see what I can do here. All right, Grant, how about now? See if that's any better.
Testing, can you hear me? Testing.
All right, we'll see what the chat has to say. I think that should be a little bit better here. All right, let me add the lobby link here and we'll get started. Sorry for the delay, guys. I am casting from a rig that I'm not familiar with. And I, again, am having a couple troubles getting everything sorted out. So hopefully I can get this figured out before too long.
It seems like even like with my PC today, just everything wants to be slow or not work properly.
Oof. All right. Well, we got. Looks like Rocklets wants to play instead of Asuna there. All right. Starkiller, Asuna, and are we missing anybody else?
Do you have Pereira?
Oh, I don't. We're waiting on our Portuguese caster to hop in. Where is he? Get in here so we can get our Portuguese cast going on. And there we are. Okay, lobby is ready to go. Starkiller and Asuna. Let's get it going. Oh, thank goodness. Off to a rocky start, but not the end of the world. Countdown going on, and we're hopping in. So these are best of 5 matches. The first map is from obviously all from the standard ladder map pool. The first match is randomly decided. I've got a random number generator that I'm running to choose the first map, and then it's loser's choice after that. What the heck? Still the wrong server? What's going on, man?
I'm not sure. I think maybe someone might have it set up wrong on their own. It's throwing it off, but I don't know if it would be the creator that would make it.
Yeah, I'm trying to check my server as well here. Oh, mine keeps resetting back. Oh, that's why. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So here we go. Okay, there we go. And one more. There it is.
Maybe I need to turn my mic up a little bit. Let's see.
Yeah, you're a little quiet for me as well. So, third time's the charm. Countdown coming down now. And as long as the server is correct, we're going to start our first best of 5. I hope.
No. I can hear you now.
Still with me, Gravity?
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Hey, okay, cool. We'll wait for the 1 minute delay. A reminder to our viewers, we are on a 1 minute delay here. Oh, come on. Oh, they didn't make it with Game Heart. It's all right. Okay. Whatever. Let's just get into the game. We got to get some StarCraft going here.
Yeah. I'm itching for some StarCraft.
Oh man, it's too much. All right. Well, if you're itching, then you know what the heck. I got to be much worse than you are. Gravity, why don't you take it away and tell us who's playing in our first best of 5 tonight?
Alrighty, guys. Without further ado, here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, playing as the Zerg pieces in the blue. Give it up. It is Starkiller.
And his opponent
Go ahead.
in the top left from Alpha X, the purple Protoss player, it is Asuna. All right, so Gravity, for those of you who may not know you that well, why don't you give me like the 30-second, who are you, man? I know you're one of my colleagues, you're one of my co-casters on Alpha X. Where are you from? What are you doing? What race do you play? How long you been following StarCraft, man?
Well, I actually started back in Brood War when I was still in high school. I played that for a long time, and then I kind of actually fell out and came back in right at the swing of Heart of the Swarm, and they first were just starting to switch over from Wings of Liberty to Heart of the Swarm. Since then, been playing. I started off kind of playing as like Zerg, a little bit of Protoss, but now I'm main Terran, and I'm from Missouri, and just love getting the cast, getting to see StarCraft, and just I've been following it ever since.
Love it. Us Midwest boys have to stick together. I'm a Kansas boy myself.
Yeah, I was born in Missouri, raised in Kansas until the very end of like my high school, and then I just kind of moved into Missouri. So it's been really nice.
Well, Kansas boys unite then. Us and Tasteless can carry the banner of StarCraft.
Oh, I know. I was so upset when I found out like how close like me and Tasteless and Day 9 actually were, and if I would have been more into the scene, maybe I would have gotten to meet them in their prime.
Oh, sure. That's wild. Well, let's take a look at what's going on in game here. We see the Baneling nest already coming down here for Starkiller, but Azuna's got a pretty good wall off. I don't know. What do you think about Banelings against a pretty solid wall like this on the low ground?
It's really interesting. The thing is like if you can get kill off, say like the zealot with those banelings, your lings are going to be able to get in. You're going to be able to get a lot of damage done, and that's basically what he wants to do with these banelings. He's not looking to necessarily take out um, a whole lot of buildings or anything like that. It's mainly just to get straight into the natural, start working onto those probes. He will be able to take care of the pylons there, get in with one of the lanes. He will be able to kind of scout it out, but he just did not have enough there to really do much else besides that. But it's just going to keep hemorrhaging on to the natural and eventually try to overwhelm Asuna here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I see this happen a lot with Zerg players, especially at the lower levels. They will commit some banelings to this front wall, but not enough banelings to the front wall, and they'll break down the wall, but then won't be able to get in and do any damage. So really, it costs the Protoss player what 100 minerals, 200 minerals maybe, and all that gas for all those banelings wasted, and all the Protoss has to do is build a couple more buildings. But what? Oh, look at that Stargate Void Ray response. Ooh, what do you think? Void Ray versus Baneling?
I really like this. A lot of times we see Protoss go for like an Oracle opening, but in this case, when you have so many lanes, you have those Banelings coming in. The perfect response for this, getting that Void Ray out, going to be able to use that kind of overdrive of their attack to eliminate as much as this as possible, and that's what you want to do. You want to keep those Baneling count low. You want to eliminate as much of that so you don't get overwhelmed. You see Asuna doing a really good job of actually, just blocking everything in. As long as he can continue to do that, continue with these force fields, he's going to be in a good spot. But Starkiller not done with this yet. He's just going to keep going and keep pressing on. But GG's going to be called there, and Asuna going to take that with excellent defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, it's up to the Zerg player once they decide that's going to happen. Once that's going to be their strategy, they're going to have to really, really commit to it real hard. And it looks like he wasn't quite able to make that work that time. All right, so we're in a loser chooses the map style. So Asuna going to take game number 1 here. So that means Starkiller will get to choose our map. What do you think of the new map pool, Gravity?
I don't mind it. I like the aesthetics of it. It is kind of weird. A lot of them seem very like close knit, really tight corners, and really kind of forces you to make these good decisions. We've seen, in the past, a lot of times maps just really wide open, just you know balls to the wall, just spread out, do all this damage. But whenever you have these tight maps where you can't just spread out, you have to really think about how you attack and where you attack at. It really kind of brings out the most in players to make sure that they're making those smart decisions, attacking where they need to, and just being cautious of how they're going in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to turn you up just a little bit more here, see if that helps. And also get rid of a little bit more game sound. See if maybe we can find a balance here between everybody at home hearing you and everybody here in the game as well. I think we're ready to get into game number 2, though. Going to be on Eternal Empire.
If anything, you might check your audio setting, like your actual computer setting, and see if the Discord needs to be turned up on your side.
Okay.
It might be low. Sometimes that kind of happens on mine. I don't know if it'll happen on yours or not.
Isn't it funny that we all have the exact same job? We're all doing pretty much the exact same thing, and yet our setups are all wildly different.
Oh, I know. It's insane. I always try to figure out how other people have their settings and how they do that, and then it baffles me just how different things can be.
Absolutely. All right. Well, tell you what. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2 here. We'll pull up the scene now, and boom, there we are. Eternal Empire going to be map number 2 in this best of 5. Ooh, best of 5. In the top right-hand corner, our Zerg player. Currently down 1 game after a failed Baneling bust. It is Starkiller.
Alrighty, and in the bottom left-hand corner, into the purple, showing how well he can defend against Baneling bust. Can he keep it up? Give it up. It is Asuna.
Yeah. Now, so the classic question I've got to ask when you try a bold strategy like a Baneling Blast, did pardon me, did Asuna win that game, or did Starkiller just lose that game?
I think it's a mixture of both. Asuna did exactly what he needed to. He knew, you know what, I don't have to worry about making, a ton of units. I just need to defend these busts. As long as I'm behind this, macroing up, getting probes and all of this, I will be okay. I think the big concern was going to be what is the tech switch behind this, if any. But from
Oh,
what we saw, Starkiller was definitely all in. He wanted to get in there and get that pressure and just try to overwhelm his opponent. Wasn't able to, realized it, and decided to fall out there.
do you see what I see, Gravity? Do you see what's going on this map right now?
Oh man, the Eternal Empire has come alive, and it is of course going to be that hatchery rush. We've actually seen Zerks do this quite often. A lot of times, it's to delay that natural. Does he finish it up? I don't think so, especially now with the Zealot coming out. But this does delay any kind of expansion, any kind of additional probe or economic coming out from Asuna. We already see that second hatchery coming out for Starkiller as well. So I love this. It's such a bold move, but when you're playing against a player like Asuna, any little advantage you can get is definitely worthwhile.
Man, that drone can get a full scout of the main, and oh man, he's gonna pull off the gas steal as well. What a cheeky little play there from Starkiller. You gotta give him some respect.
Oh yeah, I love this so much, and as like a Zerg player that is constantly getting like mineral stole and things like that from Protoss, whenever you can do stuff like this and just steal it back is just awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's good scouting for a long time there. That extractor, famously with a ton of health, going to be really tough for that for the Protoss player here, Azuna, to hide any of his tech, which is something that a Protoss really wants to do about now. Just as Warp Gate research gets finished and the second Nexus is on its way, this is the time when Protoss players are choosing that tech path. Last time, of course, we saw Asuna go for a Void Ray with his tech path, Stargate into Void Ray. But this time, there's no Baneling bust to defend. Is Void Ray still going to be the right choice?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe throw in a couple for harass potential, but overall, you're looking to get a couple of oracles. You want to get at least like a Phoenix to control the skies, push back, any kind of overlords. And so far, we're just now getting that Stargate. I don't know. I think maybe just a single oracle into Phoenix and then go into your tech choice, whether it's going to be that blink play, which is really good on this map, or maybe go into to disruptors or something like that, because splash damage on a map so close quartered as this is going to be really good for you.
Sure, sure. One thing that we do talk about a lot when you get really, really specific. Ooh, by the way, some good pressure here on the third base of Starkiller. Azuna getting those adepts and the Zealot out. It's going to be very difficult for Starkiller to fight this because he doesn't really have much army on the ground at all.
No, I mean he's only got 10 lings, and if it was just a couple of adepts, it wouldn't be bad, but he has to wait for the queen to get over. We see the shade coming out from Asuna. It's not going to complete it, but it is going to put that kind of respect towards Starkiller. Finally, queen will get over there to the third. Does he actually save it? Does he get the cancel?
Oh my god, that is so close. Shade obviously going to draw those Zerglings away. The hatchery down, forces the cancel out of it. What a big pickup for Azuna.
Oh yeah, that is just so good. And queen actually will go down as well. More and more of these adepts are going to be flying across. We do behind this have that oracle. So even after all of this damage, even after the cancel, Starkiller in a lot of trouble. Um, just not going to have any really big defense against this. He's going to go up to a lair. He's got more links to try to defend this, but definitely Starkiller looking to be in a tough place here.
Oh yeah, double-digit lings. Now the good news is that those 20 lings will steal all of that Oracle energy here. The Oracle going to waste a lot of time burning down those lings instead of doing exactly what the Oracle wants to do, which is of course killing drones. This is going to buy Starkiller a lot of time to get those spore crawlers up. Now, okay, the Oracle will get a couple drones here, but it's going to run out of energy very quickly after 4, maybe 5, 6.
Yeah.
But really, that's not a bad.
Still picking up even picking up the queen. And he gets out. That's just really good. So far, 12 kills for that Oracle.
Wow.
You can't have anything better than that.
That is really, really impressive stuff. Behind this, of course, we see Azuna going into the Robo facility. What's the play behind this? He's got all sorts of options. His opponent's just on Roach Tech right now. Do you just start pumping out Immortals and support him with some Oracles to harass? Is that the best play?
I think so. I mean, maybe you go into a little bit more of the adept kind of style. You throw in those Immortals, and then you just kind of start pushing. You already know that you're in a good position, so there's not a stress of over committing. Just as long as you continue to put a little bit more damage and not lose a whole lot, I think you're going to find yourself in a good spot. I think going up maybe even to some like Stalker Immortal will be really good, just depending on how he scouts what Starkiller is going to go for. But still, Starkiller stuck on 2 bases against Asuna, who is most likely going to look to go into a third. You got to wonder what he's gonna do to come back here.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I mean, it's still anybody's game. The supply is not terribly different or anything. Obviously, 10 workers behind is not where a Zerg player wants to be, and these Oracles picking off even more drones. The Oracle's going to sacrifice themselves to multiply their drone kills. 11, 12 kills? Oh, Starkiller, you got to defend better than that, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he's really trying to push to go into this Roach push. He just now got Roach speed done. He doesn't have anything for upgrades, and he's only going to be sitting here at 10 Roaches, which is a really good count. So if he can get across and get some damage done, that might be good for Starkiller. But if he keeps losing these drones, keeps losing the pressure like this, it's going to be tough for him. But I do see Asuna, trying to go for that third, and yeah, this is just looking really good altogether.
I mean, just look at the units tab here. 10 Roaches and a handful of Zerglings versus already a couple of Immortals, some Oracle, Stalker, Adept, Zealot. We see Azuna's good in this kind of kitchen sink build, right, where he's got just a little bit of everything. And it's a really well-rounded army, whereas Zergling Roach, Zergling Roach is not quite as diverse as you may hope. A couple Ravagers getting scrubbed in now, and that's going to be helpful, but man, Asuna is ready for this assault on his third, already dropping the shield batteries. I think they'll probably finish, maybe a little bit late actually. Starkiller might have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the sentries are going to come into play here, trying to, spread out this army as much as possible, but if he can somehow delay this enough to get those shield batteries up, find himself in a good position, but looks like the shield batteries will go down. The Ravager's going to go ahead and cross a vial on top of the army, actually getting on top of a lot of Asuna's army. The Warp Prism trying to hold on and to micro this as best as he can. It looks like we'll be able to push this away, but, not as good for Asuna as he would have liked there.
Yeah, Asuna taking a little more damage than I think either of us expected. A really, really nice concave there from Starkiller, able to maximize the damage of those Roaches, and now they're going to get hunted down by that classic Warp Prism juggle. Drop it on top to pick off that last Ravager at some point, or maybe even just dropping at the third. Asuna, I think, really putting a stranglehold on this game.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the kind of part of the match that Starkiller is just so good at. His Roach play is just phenomenal. If you let him get up to that Roach tech, if you let him get the numbers going, it can definitely spiral out of control. As soon as it will try to go into maybe the the main or the third base to put some pressure with these Immortals, but he has to be careful, especially with these with the Roaches and also with that Spore Crawler in place.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to lose this Warp Prism. In fact, he's going to get the recall out there. Oh, one Queen trying to attack. We're very close, but a nice getaway there for Asuna. But now we see the Gateway Explosion really coming down. 3 more getting added on. Immortals still getting pumped out one at a time. The Templar now getting warped in. We see Asuna teching up quite a bit here, getting these more technically impressive units in his comp, getting those Archons. And really looking to take this game, I think, probably in the mid to late game. Say a 12, 13-minute push, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. And now, once he gets a lot of those gateways done, he is looking to go possibly into some, Zealot run-bys and continue to try to spread Starkiller thin. We'll see if he can actually do it, though. But with that charge finished and now going into Blink, adding onto those High Templar, it's definitely looking like he's preparing for a big attack here, but we'll see if he can actually get that done.
I love how busy Asuna is staying with these Oracles. He's not letting them idle outside the map. He's not letting them just chill out. He's using those revelations to track what's coming out of the production facilities. He's keeping an eye on that Roach Ravager army. He's staying so active to scout with these things. And he might lose one there. He's actually going to save both of them there. And that's so important. So many Protoss players will invest heavily early game into their air harass. And then just, whether it's Phoenix or Oracle, just let those units hang out and chill for a while. Asuna is definitely staying much more active than that.
Definitely, and it's like Oracles are one of those units that if you can get the damage done with them, they're so valuable, but going into them and not getting any damage, it puts you behind so much. And we've seen, like you said, him being just so active with them, just trying to find something to do with them and being safe. I like that he's adding on some Phoenix. This is going to help him in the big engagement if he wants to lift up some queens. And again, kind of poke and prod at some of these oracles, or excuse me, the overlords, if he wants to get something done with those.
Definitely. Controlling the airspace is so big. Having 2 or 3 Phoenix to chase those overlords away makes such a huge difference in your map control and your map vision. It's the same thing we see with so many Zerg players who are now choosing Nubatized Carapace over Zergling speed at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Same way that we see a lot of Protoss players cranking out that first Observer before they crank out an Immortal out of their Robo facility, right? Players more and more are realizing the absolute value of having complete control and knowledge of that map. I mean, we've always known that knowing what's on the map is good, but now I think we're seeing more and more players cut more and more corners to race up to that map control stage.
Do you see what I see, Cruton?
Is it a 2x2 Protoss structure warping in behind the second base?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be done in time. This attack might preempt it a little bit, but oh my gosh, wouldn't Dark Templar be hilarious?
Oh yeah, and especially since he has no detection with this army, DTs would be a perfect solution for this. There's no overlords in sight here for Starkiller being basically taken out there with those Phoenix. This is looking really scary as an army from Starkiller, but if he can somehow hold on, maybe warp in some of those, he might be okay. But Asuna taking a lot of damage here from those corrosive biles, going to get right on top of this army. I don't know if he has enough here.
Yeah, this is really scary from both sides. We see a massive, oh, I love this, a massive flanking warp in of Zealots. So those Zealots are going to get full surface area and prevent this army from retreating. The collapse is going to be just enough so that Starkiller's army gets absolutely shredded there. And Asuna looking a little bit in danger, but easily pulling out a victory in game number 2.
Oh yeah, just such a huge disruptor shot there at the end. Was able to take out a good chunk of those Ravengers. Really helped Asuna push through forward in victory. And also, he had +2 to Starkiller's just now +1, so was able to do a lot more damage there, and it was a good game there.
Definitely, definitely. All right, I'm going to try and up your volume just a little bit more and see if that helps. In the meantime, we've got game number 3. Should be made here pretty quickly. So loser's choice, that means that Starkiller is going to get to pick the next map as well. When you're a Zerg player and you're on the ropes, right? You're 0-2 right now. You've got to win this next 3 in a row if you want to move on to the championship. What are you thinking about as far as map size, as far as map choice? What are you looking for when you're choosing a map?
See, it's really tough because we've seen Starkiller go for the aggression play. We've seen him go for, I guess, like a timing play, and neither has seemed to work out for him. I don't know. I think overall the macro play is going to be going what it is. He is going to choose Zen, which is a really interesting map. It has some interesting angles, and I think it's perfect for Zerg in this case. We'll see if it can pay out for him, though. But we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? You know, I always say that I love this map. Zen is really cool because it's, of course, it's got those mineral patches that you can pick down to like widen up some of the paths or close some of the other ones down. And I know pro players hate that because it introduces some uncertainty and some confusion. But I, as a caster and a viewer, absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just altogether a very interesting map, and it's one that we don't see a whole lot. It seems like even casting the qualifiers and stuff like that. It's not a map that gets chosen very often. It's usually your Tritons, your Ephemerons, these maps that give you a little bit more certainty. And on a map like Zen, certainty is not an option.
Definitely, yeah. It's so funny when the new maps come out because immediately players always veto one of the new ones, and or 1 or 2 of the new ones, and just don't get as much practice on them as they really should. Players always love what they know best, which is the maps from last season. So even the worst maps from last season are much better than the new maps from any new season, right?
Oh yeah, we saw that within the previous few seasons where whenever I forget which map it was, but when it first came out and nobody liked it, everybody hated it. But as the next season came on and they kept it, it ended up being everybody's favorite. And it's just one of those things where, yeah, you get a new map, you just don't like it, you're not comfortable on it, you don't know how you should attack, you don't have that practice, and you just get yourself a little scared there. So you want comfortability, and you want assurance.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of comfortability and assurance, let's hop into this last game, which I am assured will be fantastic, and I'm comfortable in saying that. So let's introduce our players here. Start us off, Gravity.
Alrighty, guys. Here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, playing as the blue Zerg pieces. Give it up. It is Starkiller.
And resting atop his laurels with one more game to win before he is rocketed into the finals. In the purple, playing Protoss, also from Alpha X, it's Asuna. You don't happen to have a dog, do you, Gravity?
I do not, no. I have a couple of snakes and I have some cats.
Okay, I thought I heard some dog sounds coming from your microphone, and I was about to ask how cute it was.
Well, that's my girlfriend, so I guess she's pretty cute.
Got it. Got it. Are you poking her with a sharp stick or something? She sounds like she's yelping.
She's being attacked by a small toddler.
That's pretty terrifying. I'm terrified of small toddlers.
They can be kind of devastating, but Baby Grav, he's a
Well, we got a pylon block going down. We've seen Asuna do this in, I think, one of our games so far, not the second game. But the pylon block, well, he couldn't get the pylon block down because he was busy fighting off a proxy hatchery, right, in the second game. But pylon blocking and forcing Starkiller to take this third base, and oh my gosh, on Zen LE, look at how open, exposed, and far away this third base is from the main.
Sorry, I have to deal with that. What were you saying? Sorry.
I said, so Asuna has blocked out Starkiller from getting his natural, and he's doing it again, a second pylon block as well, really committing to this. And Starkiller has taken the third base there. Look how far away the third base is on this map from the main. Just what a slog.
And it's really interesting that he chose that as the third base. I guess it seems like it's the closest, but a lot of times we see it kind of going up more towards the 9 o'clock position there. So interesting placement. It could suggest that in the future he does want to get super aggressive with his push or whatever he's doing. As a Zerg player, that's definitely annoying though, having to deal with that pylon block and just force yourself to go into a third position. In the end, it makes it to where your natural is a little bit easier to take later on in the game and a little bit harder to defend your natural, but we'll see how he kind of copes with that already. He has the queen going down. Should be more than okay as far as getting it saturated, and yeah, I mean overall not in a terrible position. We do see Asuna going for this Stargate play behind this once again. Starkiller going to go with the aggression pool. He's going to go with Lynx. He's got that Baelings. He's going to try to do another push, and on a map like this where you have two different sections you have to push into, definitely makes it tough for the Protoss. But already we see an excellent defense coming out from Asuna. He's got the mineral blocks. He's got the other side of the ramp blocked as well. He's in prime position right now.
Yeah, Asuna has read this really well. A beautiful force field there, stopping the aggression there from Starkiller. Pylon blocks going behind his force field as well. Asuna looks to be in pretty good shape to hold this again. We see 3 more Baelings morphing in. At this point, Starkiller completely all in, desperate to get damaged. And here it is, Zerglings flooding in, getting a full surround on all of the fighting units out here for Asuna. Starkiller looking like he may be able to take this one. Probes have been pulled. What do you think, Gravity?
I think it's going to be very close. He doesn't have enough to deal with this, but here come the Baelings. Going to roll right in here. 12 probes have fallen. 1 more Baeling still alive, and a lot of these probes are very hurt. We do finally have the Void Ray coming out, and we'll be able to get on top of that Baeling, but still the damage has been done. This is exactly what he wanted to do in Game 1. Wasn't able to, and for the time being, we'll be able to push Asuna back. He's going to go ahead and continue to make more and more of these SCVs, or excuse me, of the Zerglings there, and push in and continue to deal the damage. The shield battery finishes up, so it should be okay to clean this up. But we'll see. That Void Ray just going to be the killer here and the stopper of Starkiller.
Yeah, man. 2x2 Zerglings of blue coming in, causing all kinds of damage in Asuna's base. Asuna down to just 9 workers. Now, Starkiller did cut all of his drones for that. He was almost completely all in there with that attack. But the attack was so successful that now he's even ahead on the drone count, on the worker count by 25 to 9. So restarting those drones, restarting the economy. Has Asuna been dealt a killer blow here, or is there a chance, a hope, a prayer that somehow Asuna could come back?
I definitely think there's a chance, especially if he can chrono out more probes. It is going to put him behind and will force him to play a more defensive position. As long as he can scout and make sure, what is Starkiller doing. And again, we see him going out with the Void Rays, trying to put the supply block. If he can supply Starkiller enough, it'll give him a chance to come back. It'll give him a chance to get those probes, get that economy going once again. And then potentially just kind of start building up that force. But until then, he has to sit back. He has to again just defend and then hope that Starkiller doesn't do some kind of weird transition.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Starkiller really has control sort of the game right now, I'd say. And it would be very easy for him to, pop down a secret spire somewhere, or maybe hide a roach warren and just swell up to 30 roaches and just go for it. But as the game ticks on, I gotta say, Azuna's position looks pretty darn good, man. He may be a little bit behind in the worker count, but he's certainly catching up. It's not the 9 to 20 that we saw earlier in the start of this game.
No, it really isn't. It's just showing how good the macro of Asuna is, and because like you said, Starkiller was basically all in at that point. He wasn't doing any other production, and so nothing was increasing except for his army count. At this point, he's only got like a single ling, so there's no map presence for Starkiller at this point. And he can't really do any pushes. He's basically mineral locked right now until he can get more of that economy going, or sack more drones and go more all in. But for the time being, it is giving Asuna so much of an opportunity to actually come back, and even using that Void Ray. This is something Asuna has been doing so well with his air units, is not just letting them sit around. He's going out, he's being active on the map, picking up units here and there, and just continuing on the pressure, and just making sure that every unit is getting value out of it.
Wow. Well, I don't know if these guys are Grandmasters levels, but they're certainly qualified for the Silver League. I see Mass Void Rays and a second Stargate coming out of Azuna now.
Definitely looks like Asuna might have been watching like a Beastie Cutie series or something like that. He's on his Void Rays to Grandmaster series right now, and he's gonna be going out on Starkiller. And I think that right now this situation is just perfect. The damage output from these Void Rays is just so massive, and then also the fact that they don't require energy to attack, right? So it's not like an Oracle where you have a certain amount of energy, you can only get a little bit of damage. These things can continue to attack, they continue to put pressure on, and as long as they have themselves and a little bit of room to breathe, they're going to be just fine.
So tell me, how many bases do you need to make Flux Veins Void Rays valuable? Because he's on 2 bases right now. The Fleet Beacon has finished up. Void Rays are being produced 2 at a time, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Flux Veins is on the way. Is this a meme? Is this a dream? Or is this real life?
I definitely think in today's society, it's real life. We've seen a lot of pros actually go for this, and it just gives that added bonus, that added mobility to the Void Rays, and just gives them a little bit more purpose. They've actually, just have been doing a lot better with the new patch. I don't think it's necessarily a meme in this case. I think that's the right call, and because of just how things are set up, even just being on 2 bases and getting that again, Starkiller doesn't have the army to really contend with this. He's just now getting 11 Hydras, which will be able to kind of contend this, but Asuna is just overall looking good. But I do fear that, with the mass up of the Hydras, this might be gloom and doom for Asuna if he doesn't take precaution with this.
Yeah, this is a really interesting turn of events, man. If you would have told me that my 3rd game tonight was going to be a moderately successful Baneling bust into Mass Flux Vein Void Rays versus Hydralisks, I would have told you, be careful smoking those drugs or CPS is going to get called on you, gravity.
But I know you would have thought it was like an episode of Bronze League Heroes or something, but this is actually happening.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we see some good transfuses going down from Starkiller. Starkiller also putting pressure here on the 3rd base. Looks like these 2 armies do want to collide with each other a little bit, forcing a recall actually out of Azuna. Azuna's recall is going to go back to his natural here, going to save these Void Rays and hope that they can be used to stem the oncoming tide. What does the ground army look like for Azuna, though? Oh, wait.
I mean, he's got an adept, 2 zealots, and the sentry. He doesn't have much of a ground army. And the thing is if he cannot control these Hydras, it is looking really bad right now for Asuna. He's playing very defensive. He does have shield batteries in the back, but with the corrosive biles and with the continued pressure here of those roaches, of those Hydras, it's starting to cave in here on Asuna. He does have some sentries to kind of block this out for a little bit. He even gets the deny on +1 air weapons. This is just looking really good right now here for Starkiller.
Yeah, here we go. The big engagement at the end. We see Corrosive Biles going down. Asuna's not even going to let this one play out. GG is called, and Starkiller takes one back to put himself on the board. One game down to Asuna's 2. Oh,
GG's,
man. What a weird game that was.
Yeah, it definitely could have downward spiraled for Starkiller, considering, you know, he only had a couple of queens there for a while, but once he got settled into that third base, he was just able to explode into, you know, army, and was able to overcome that pretty well.
So what do you think, had Starkiller just, so after he had this initial Baneling bust, Asuna was down to like 9 probes. What do you think would have happened if Starkiller would have just put his foot on the gas, done nothing but Banelings and Zerglings, and gone through? Do you think he'd have a shot at it, or do you think with that Void Ray out, he wouldn't be able to make it work?
I think with the Void Ray, as long as he could keep control of how many lings there was, he was going to be all right. He was going to continue to, to defend it. I think once he was able to clear up enough to go ahead and block off his base, he would have been able to start building it up. But I don't know. I think, you know, Starkiller really didn't have an answer to the air. So as long as he could continue to put, you know, pressure from the sky, I don't know. I think it could have went to Asuna if it would have kept going like that. I think the decision to back off, to go ahead and drone up, was a really good one. He knew that, you know, I've done the damage I need. I don't need to overextend by just, you know, pushing through, and just go ahead and continue to drone up to get and say, hey, you know what? I just need to get some roaches, need to get some hydras, be good to go. And so
Yeah.
it ended up working out for him.
How does a Zerg player know when they've done enough damage and they should keep pushing, or if they've done enough damage and they should back off? Is it just sort of a gut call and you got to read your opponent and see what their tech choice is? Or is there some sort of, I don't know, formula that you're kind of going over in your head when you're thinking, okay, wait a minute, I've got him down to about 10 probes, but not, you know, how do you know?
I think a lot of it is just kind of a gut feeling. You know, obviously it's a game of misinformation or incomplete information, so you don't know exactly how much damage you've done, but just kind of by your own judgment, you're like, okay, you know, I've been able to kill off a lot of his probes. I got some good bailing hits off of them, and for the most part, you know, he's only got a few at his natural. I think I've done enough to where if I go ahead and back up, I can build up for a second attack or like a timing or something, and then just go back into it again. He's not going to have as much. He's going to have to use that economy to, you know, build up probes instead of units. And I think it's just kind of one of those things you just have to, in your gut, say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I feel I'm at. Let me go ahead and back up. Let me redo it. Let me just not throw this away.
Yeah, it's almost like this game is a little more complex than a simple mathematical formula, right?
It seems that way sometimes.
Oh, man, wait until the boys back in the back hear about that. They're going to be so frustrated. All right, well, Gravity, we're into game number 4 here, this best of 5. Why don't you introduce to our first player?
Alrighty, guys. Without further ado, here in the bottom right-hand corner, the map, playing as the purple Protoss from Alpha X. Give it up. It is Asuna.
And his opponent. In the top left, in the baby blue, going pool first. Hello. From Alpha X, it is Starkiller. Now this is a bold play. Pool first, then gas, then it looks like he's finally getting his hatch down after this. Unless he gets blocked again. Yeah. Sending that drone out, is he going to do... Is he just going to go straight to the third base to get that hatch down?
I think it's definitely possible. He was trying to get it out before Asuna came across, looking at making it look like, okay, I just get my other one first, or at least kind of throw off Asuna. We do see him take the natural, but it just makes it look like, okay, you know, I am trying to expand. There's, you know, something going on here. We see that there is going to be 6 links on the way, and on a map like Ephemeron, when you have that long distance, I don't know. You can go across, maybe get some damage done with these lings, but the rush distance is so long that by the time they even get close, Asuna's just going to be able to have this blocked off, and it's going to be super tough to even get in here.
Yeah, and Asuna's harassment probe there even sees those links coming across, so Azuna has a pretty good idea what he's up against already. It looks like he's going to have plenty of time to get that last pylon into his wall, get himself situated, and hopefully protect against what is a little bit of early game aggression from Starkiller.
And I like this. I like this a little bit from Starkiller.
Oh, hang on, hang on. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Ooh, he's going to get a surround off here. Oh, this just got really interesting.
yeah, this is really nice. You know, we see this sometimes from the Zergs, just trying to put a little bit of pressure. He will pull some probes to clear this up, but a lot of times, you know, if the Zerg can kind of throw off the Protoss with this, maybe think that there's this big aggression coming, that they can kind of throw them. But you know, just throwing out the 6 links going to go more into the economy side of things, and you know, he got a lot more damage, a lot more value than he would have, you know, initially thought there. So not terrible.
Well, hey, let's not count it out just yet. We see 8 more Lings. Ling speed on the way. Now a couple drones finally getting scrubbed in here. Are these drones just for defense, or do you think Azuna, or do you think Starkiller rather has some more aggression in mind?
I definitely think it could be used for defense. He saw that there was already the zealot out. Saw that there was an adept. Definitely knows that there's some kind of counterplay on the way. It is going to be the double adepts coming out. He just wants to make sure that he doesn't die to nothing, and he will get one of the adepts. The other one going to recall home, and yeah, that's going to defend it. Now he can use those for a little bit of a counterattack. Speed finished up as well. And yeah, he's just going to go across and continue this harassment. Don't think it's going to get too much done, but we'll see here.
Yeah, definitely not. With the Adepts behind the wall, the Oracle on its way out, Starkiller's going to face the same problem he faced in Game 1, which is he's got all these Lings and just not much to show for it. But behind this, we see him getting a third base, finally, a little bit later than he'd probably like, but a third base on the way, going up to that Lair Tech, adding on the Spore Crawlers so that he's well defended against the Oracle coming across right now. Who's in better shape right now, Gravity?
Overall, I think Starkiller's in a good spot. He has the Lings being able to, in a sense, kind of contain Asuna, make sure he doesn't take a third base. As long as he doesn't take a whole lot of damage to the Oracle, he's going to find himself in a fine position. He's already got his third base on the way. He has, you know, going up to Lair Tech, and eventually you're probably going to go up into Roaches, maybe some speed. And I would like to see like a +1 speed timing coming out from him, but we'll see. So far, you know, the damage in favor, I would think more of Starkiller, but like I said, as long as he doesn't take a lot of damage to the Oracle harass, he should be okay. It's going to be a second Oracle and a third Oracle on the way. So
interesting. Hydralisk Den already down for Starkiller to defend against the airplay. Now here's my question for you. Usually, when we see a Terran or a Protoss player playing against a Zerg, hold on, these Oracles getting in here. 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kill. He's got to be very careful. Can't lose those Oracles too early. Okay, 3 kills at the cost of, man, almost 1 Oracle, but not quite. So here's my question. Usually when a Terran or Protoss player is playing against a Zerg, it's common to hear the phrase that the onus is on the Terran or Protoss player to do economic damage. Because if you can't do economic damage to the Zerg player, they will just overrun you in minute 10 of the game, no matter what happens. Even if you have like a really good tech choice, they're simply going to have more than you do. I guess the question is twofold. 1, is that still the case? And 2, is Asuna getting enough economic damage done here?
I think sometimes it can be the case. Zerg is very swarmy. If they can get up to, you know, 50 drones, if they can get to the tech and the style that they want, it can kind of downfall. I think a lot of it is twofold as well, where, you know, you feel like you got to do damage, and if you don't do any damage, if you just lose your units for nothing, I mean, it puts you behind. So it's kind of like this weird balance of you need to get the damage done so that they don't just overwhelm on drones and then, you know, able to, you know, max out with all of their larvae and get army. Because that's the big thing with like Zerg, is you want to make sure that their larva is going towards drones and not army. So if they're having to be forced to make more of those drones, it's definitely a good thing for you, because they're not going to have as much army when you come in with your timing or whatever you have you. But I don't know. I don't think Asuna right now has done the damage, but he definitely still has, I feel, the control right now. He has the Oracles. He's still, you know, putting out some. It's actually going to lose one of the Oracles, a second Oracle. Oh, no, he keeps it. I don't know. This is getting a little scary now with the mass style of Hydras coming out here. There's not a whole lot of army for Asuna.
Yeah, those stasis traps not really working out quite the way Asuna wanted, only catching about 7 circlings between those 2 stasis traps. There's still a lot of Hydralisks out here. Now, these are slow Hydralisks. They don't have grooved spines, right? Yeah, oh, they do have grooved spines, pardon me. Slow Hydralisks, but still with grooved spines. Is the DPS output going to be high enough to fight against this ball? We can see Asuna waiting, patiently, taking his time before he engages with this. It's going to cost him his 3rd base, and Starkiller is still pushing. Is Starkiller pushing too far? Does he need to retreat right now, or should he keep this up?
No, I think he definitely needs to keep pushing on this. The Ling's going to be coming through. He's still going to go more into Hydras. He's got more Lings flying across the map. As long as he doesn't let this kind of snowball out of control, he's in a really good spot. The Immortals are starting to get into a good count here, so he will have to back up. But I think Starkiller definitely in a good spot. Able to get the 3rd base is a huge pickup for him. It's going to keep that economy low of Asuna. He's not going to be able to make as many units. And it forces Asuna to play super defensive. And Starkiller behind this, he could go into a 4th base. He's going to go into Lurkers, actually. And that's just going to continue to put this this pressure here on Asuna. And, you know, this main ground force of Zealots, not going to be really good against the Lurkers.
No, definitely
But it does
not.
look like Asuna is ready to attack, so.
Yeah, the Lurker den's still about 20 seconds away here, and the Lurker morph time is not... It's quick, but it's not quite that quick. The charge lots, speed charge lots, are here now, along with some Archon support and a couple other Sentries and Immortals here. Azuna's army looking like it's ready to posture and maybe take back some of the momentum, some of the tempo in this game. Now, he set a stasis ward really far back from where he's choosing to engage. I wonder if he's going to purposely collapse here and see if he can get a large chunk of his army to get stasis. And again, he's going to get unlucky with that stasis trap and only grab a couple of Zerglings. But a big warp means that Azuna's aggression, he is going to continue.
Yeah, this is really good for Asuna. He's going to continue to push on to this 3rd base. The Hydras are still, you know, trying to find a good spot. We do have a couple of Lurkers being morphed in, so he's trying to buy time until he can get that. And yeah, I think Asuna's trying to get some of these plays going on where he can get a lot of this army stasis, but it doesn't look like that's going to be effective for him. And now with the Lurkers out, he's going to be in a little bit better position against us. There's no detection with this army aside from the Oracle. So as long as he can take care of that, I mean, he's going to be in a really good defensive position here. All he needs to do is defend, possibly counterattack, and it should be good.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Asuna, of course, does have that robo facility back home, just finally getting the observer out. As soon as he sees those Lurker spines, he realizes that he's not going to be in a position to attack for much longer. And again, the longer this game goes on, the better it's going to be for Starkiller here. Starkiller on 3 bases, 10 drones ahead. It doesn't matter. Azuna's just going to go for it here, uses the Revelation, and he actually does revelate all of those Lurkers, but can he, does he have the firepower to get him out? I think there's too many Hydralisks here.
Yeah, the power there of those Lurkers is able to overcome that all, and yeah, he just did not have enough. The spread from Starkiller was just far too great, and that was good.
Wow, a Lurker transition.
Definitely bringing it back here.
Goodness gracious, so Starkiller now even. Azuna winning the first 2, Starkiller winning the next 2, turning this into a best-of-1 series. What an auspicious start to the Alpha X 137 Super Show match.
Yeah, and the thing is like these haven't been just like one-sided matches. I mean, I guess besides the first match, but it's just been back and forth. It's been some really good action. It hasn't been stale at all. So it's been a nice series so far. We'll see if that continues on into the final match here.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, if you're enjoying these matches as much as Gravity and I certainly are, and I'm sure our players are as well, if you have a couple minutes or a couple seconds, I highly encourage you to hop onto our Match Arena page. It's linked at the very top of the Africa chat there. If you type in code APS137, you'll donate 50 cents that'll go towards the final prize pool for this event. Anything you can do to show your thanks to these players for putting on such a good show would be much appreciated. And type it in the code. You don't have to put your credit card number in. You don't have to put your mother's maiden name or your birth date or anything in there.
Or
just
the
put in that
street you
code.
grew up on.
Or the what? Or the street you grew up in. None of those tricky questions. Just type in APS137 and 50 cents will be added to our prize pool as a way to say thank you to these players who are putting on such a good show. This is again the first match of 4 matches tonight. This match going to be followed by Pacomike versus Percival, and then a losers match to determine who gets our 3rd place prize, and then our grand final, which is a best of 7.
Yep. I'm excited, and if every series is like this, just action packed, it's going to be a super night of StarCraft.
I'm a little worried, I'll be honest. I've got to be awake at 4 o'clock in the morning to cast some games I'm casting later on. So if all of these games go to the final, the rubber match, I might be a very sleepy boy tomorrow.
Me too.
Because you're casting those games too, right?
I, yeah, yeah. I got a little bit of sleep before this series, only like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And last night I got like an hour of sleep in between doing the NA qualifiers and then the Korean qualifiers. So definitely a sleepy boy. Plus taking care of a toddler all day. It's a fun life, but
Oh
hey man,
God, I'm exhausted.
StarCraft.
I'm exhausted without the toddler in my life. I can't imagine adding a tiny human into this. Goodness
Oh no.
gracious. Well, I'll tell you what, Gravity, why don't you lead us off? Why don't you introduce both of our players here for game number
Oh,
5 in this best of 5?
sounds like a plan here, guys. In the final match of this series on Nightshade in the bottom right, in the purple, playing as the Protoss pieces from Alpha X. Give it up. It is Asuna. And in the top left, in the blue, bringing it back in the series, tying things up. Can he get the victory with the reverse all kill? Give it up. It's the Zerg player. It is Starkiller.
Fantastic. Starkiller dropping that early spawning pool again. But we've got a scouting probe already on the way for Asuna. Is Asuna going to spot it?
I definitely think if he clicks onto the hatchery, he's going to see, okay, this hatchery just started. You know, the spawning pool almost done, so we'll know that it is going to be a pool first play coming out from Asuna. And on a map like this, you know, the rush distance a lot closer. We could see the same kind of style coming out from Starkiller. That aggression play seeming to work out for the most part for him. He is going to make 6 links to start sending across the map. And I don't know, does Asuna get ready for this? It is a smaller ramp, so it doesn't take as much to block this. So I think he should be okay.
This is one map where the graphics are always a little tough here. The gap in his wall is on the north side, right?
There is a little bit of a gap there, and I think there's like a small gap in between the Cybernetics core and the gateway. I think you can fit like a zealot in between there.
Okay, so Zealot in the gap between the Cyber Core and the Gateway.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
And then he's going to block off the top with a pylon or something, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, there it is. Ooh, the probe landing on the wrong side of that pylon, but he literal walks it in. Very good save there by Asuna, and that's going to be the end of Starkiller's initial aggression, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he will be able to put a little bit of pressure, and the goal with this, especially you know, on something like this, is it doesn't look like Starkiller wants to continue with the aggression, but he could have, you know, tried to poke away at the Cybernetics core or something like that and force the Zealot out, and then, you know, try to run in. But it looks like he just wants to keep Asuna in a little bit of a defensive position while he goes and takes his third base, or, you know, whatever he decides to do, which looks like his third base is on the way here.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, Gravity, but is this 5 games in a row that Asuna has gone Stargate opener?
Yeah, it looks like that is the case. So they're definitely fancying the more Stargate opening, and we do see this a lot from the Protoss. It is interesting that he isn't choosing to go into like Blink, but I guess Asuna just very comfortable in that kind of Stargate style. So it's interesting.
Definitely. So third base down for Starkiller earlier than last game, which is nice. I remember last game he didn't get his third down until about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That was with a little bit more baneling harass, though. This time, still a little slow, but not the worst third base that I've ever seen from a Zerg player. A couple of Adepts going to poke in here, maybe shade up into the main, cause a little bit of trouble. But the Queens are starting to get out now, and he shouldn't take off too many drones. Just one going down, it looks like. So some moderate harass from Asuna, but nothing impressive.
Yeah, and this is just kind of to delay, to, you know, potentially damage some of the drones. So whenever this Oracle does come in, he's able to pick off a few more kills. It's going to go ahead and use it, most of that energy actually, on some of the lings that are flying across, seeing that there was some kind of pressure coming. But I mean, is that the right call here, Cretan? Does he just use that and now just defend with it, or should he go across and try to, you know, to damage some of these drones?
You know, I'll tell you what. I have shaken Zest's hand one time, and I've had Korean barbecue with Gemini. So I feel like I know more about Protoss than like 99% of other players. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my giant brain to say that that's absolutely the wrong call. I think Asuna freaked out a little bit. I think he was trying to save his Adept, which was pinned up against this rock here. And I thought, my guess is he thought somewhere in his lizard brain, he was like, all right, I've got damage. If I use that damage now, I can save the Adept, and that's more damage later. When really, I think you're right. He should have just maybe had a little more discipline, waited for that second Oracle, and gone in to get some drones later. That Adept was toast anyway, and there weren't enough Zerglings there to break through his wall or anything. So, again, as a seasoned Protoss expert, I'm going to say, I think it was the wrong call, but honestly, it's a pretty minor offense, and it's just going to slow his harassment down. We already see those two Oracles getting in, doing a little bit of damage here on the third base, just as a Zergling run by is hitting this third base for Asuna.
I wonder if almost because of the previous series of how aggressive Starkiller has been with the Lings, like kind of like with the Bailing Bust, if he freaked out and was like, oh no, he's going to start Bailing Busting me again, or starting the full pressure and just wanted to try to nip it in the butt before it got to be a reality, when in fact it wasn't going to be that big push from Starkiller. But so far, going to go back into the Hydralisk den, so going to be going into that Ling Hydra style. Potentially see Lurkers once again that just seem to work really well against what Asuna has. And, you know, what does Asuna have besides the Oracle? He's got a couple of Sentries and some Zealots. Doesn't have a whole lot here. He just now has the Forge and that Twilight Council warping in. Does he just go into charge and maybe do some kind of Archon Zealot push? Or does he go into maybe Blink and try to get into the main, try to, you know, just put on more harassment here?
Well, he's got an Immortal out right now, and with more Hydralisks on the way, because I believe he has scouted that Hydralisk den now. Yeah, he scouted that Hydralisk den now, so he knows Hydralisks are on the way. I'm going to guess he's going to try and go up to Disruptor Tech, probably with that Robo Bay down, get some Immortals out, get some Charge Zealots, and really slice his way through those sort of glass cannon units of the Hydralisks. Now, that isn't to say that it's a complete counter to everything Starkiller's doing, but it is going to make Starkiller's life much more difficult. He's going to have to be kiting quite a bit more and staying more active than he otherwise might had he gone Blinkstalker. But yeah, I think with those gateways coming down, those hopefully are going to be for a lot of Zealots, and then we're going to see with that double Robo facility out, some more Immortals and possibly Disruptors as well.
Yeah, I'm just really scared right now because we have Starkiller moving out. He's got a really nice force. He's got Bailings. He's got these Hydras coming to the third base. And what does Asuna really have? And he has a couple of Zealots, a couple of Sentries, and an Immortal. Do you think this is going to be enough to guard against this? I mean, he has the Oracle to do a couple of Stasis Wards, but we've seen in the past that doesn't work out too well. And these Zealots just do not fare well against Bailings.
Yeah, this isn't going to be really great, I don't think. Asuna might be in a fair bit of trouble here with this many Banelings coming in. The Colossi still only about 3/4 of the way done here. Stasis Trap again, getting some of those Zerglings, but not what he wanted here. Colossi coming out, but they're not prone out anymore. Some beautiful force fields from Asuna here. Starkiller trapped up against them, but the Hydralisk doing their work. This is buying time for Asuna to get the Colossi out. As soon as the Colossi out, Starkiller's going to have a whole lot more work to do, but he's going to be able to crush the army on the south side here. Banelings exploding all over those sentries and going in, even to the probe line as well. Some beautiful warp ins from Asuna to stop that. Colossi are out now. Can Asuna stop the bleeding?
I don't know. It's looking really scary. He's going to go ahead and warp in a few more Zealots to try to help push this away. Starkiller deciding, you know what, it's not worth it. Let's go ahead and back up. And it looks like Asuna ready to give chase. There's no more Bailings with this army, so it's just going to be Lings.
Gravity? Oh, no. Hello, Gravity? Hello, Gravity?
Hey!
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry. That was absolutely me. The stream dropped out there for a minute. I dropped out. My internet connection must have had a little bit of a hiccup. I'm so sorry for that. Luckily, it wasn't happening during anything huge.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was afraid you were going to drop out. I was like, oh, he's so close. But it's all right. Thankfully, there wasn't a whole lot there.
All right. So hopefully that won't happen again. Goodness gracious. Well, in the meantime, our question has been answered. It is going to be 10 Corruptors out. That is a huge number of Corruptors. Obviously, Starkiller saw that the Colossi were what sliced him up earlier, and he knew that he had to respond to those Colossi. Corruptors, I think, probably going to be the right choice.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, later on, he could change those into Broodlords if wanted. Since there's not a whole lot of anti-air with this army, right? I mean, I guess a couple of the Archons, but that's really about it. Do you see the Corruptors coming in, going to be able to almost one-shot a lot of these Colossus. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of a bold move here from Asuna. We're going to go ahead and have a couple of Zealots and Stalkers get warped in here, but there's just not enough here for Asuna. He's going to have to back up. Even going to be able to get the War Prism here. Starkiller pushing forward. Going to defend this very well, and we could see the counterplay coming in. +1 missile attacks is about finished here. And just looking so far so good for a Starkiller. And even during that, there was a little bit of a harassment. Does get 19 drones, which is really nice, but is it enough? I guess he gets the 4th base cancel as well, but is it enough here? And well, what does he go from here?
Man, that's a really tough call. As a Protoss player, you've got to feel. I hear Protoss players say that once you fall behind, it feels like you're just drowning, even if you're close, even if you're up 20 workers. When a Protoss player loses some of those key army units, when they lose their aces in the hull, they lose their Colossi, they lose a lot of their Immortals or something, they lose their Tempests. They always tell me that it just feels like they could never possibly win. I really hope that Asuna isn't feeling that right now. I think he's doing a great job. I don't know why he's moving across the map with an army right now. He does not need to engage into this. He did a lot of economic damage with that run by, but it looks like he wants to put the kibosh on this game. I'm not sure his army's beefy enough for it. What do you think?
I think I like this play from Asuna for one reason. He wants to just make sure that Starkiller doesn't have any economy coming through. Like you said, he did a really good job attacking into the natural and killing it off. I think it might have been a little bit of an overextension considering how quick this army of Starkiller is compared to his own. But yeah, I think maybe a little bit of an overextension, but overall, I like the fact that, he's able to put Starkiller back on 2 bases. We look at the income here. Asuna sitting at 4 bases with almost 3k minerals income. He's almost got, 1,500 gas income. And Starkiller is huffing it right now. He's really struggling to keep all of that money and keep it spending. So if he can continue to force Starkiller to have to spend that money when it does come time for this big engagement, and if he can somehow, overcome Starkiller's economy or his units, Starkiller's not going to be able to remake that as quickly as, say, Asuna could. He's not going to have the bank, and it could end up costing him the game. We actually have a War Prism with some Zealots up at the top for another run by, but it looks like he's just going to hang back for the time being, and Starkiller going to go into those lurkers.
Oh yeah, there it is. Very nice. The 2 o'clock position. We're seeing lurkers. We're seeing Dark Shrine. Both of these players are trying to gimmick their way out of this game, I think, looking for some sort of creative solution. They both have sort of, bashed their armies together on the battlefield and realized that it hasn't really done a whole lot. And now they're both trying to find something new and interesting to change the game.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like when these 2 players, obviously they're teammates, they've played against each other a lot. They have a fairly good idea of their play styles. So maybe just trying to find some new way into this. This is a horrible play though. Just walking those Archons straight into the lurkers. He needs to find some kind of angle, force the resurgence of those lurkers and the resiege here, and just try to pounce on them while they're up. But looks like that's not going to be the case. He's just going to get right on top of them. And again, maybe try to go for the hatchery kill here.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're on a 1-minute delay, because otherwise I'd say Asuna is listening to this cast and trying to cheat off of your gravity. He's breaking down those rocks to make a new angle for himself, forcing those lurkers to resiege, forcing out errors, meanwhile buying himself time to not only get a couple observers out, but also look at his production tab right now. Look at those buildings. Ooh, beautiful storms.
Yeah. I love this. Asuna going to go into that air tech army. So right now, just holding on, just trying to delay as much as possible until he can get that Golden Armada army. Some beautiful storms actually going off here. Starkiller needs to be careful. He's going to lose that 4th base once again. At the same time, it's going to be a very nice attack. A little bit of a run by going up at the top. Only able to get about 6 kills, but whenever you're shutting down an entire ecosystem, it's just is killer.
Yeah, forcing the evacuation, making those minerals take another hit. I was going to ask, is that the first time that we've seen Starkiller put down a fourth base in this entire series? I think he's been a three-base Zerg for 4 games in a row now.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been able to get as long as it is now. We actually see Asuna going into like his 6th base now, so just really trying to explode. But yeah, for the most part, Starkiller, he likes to stay in that 2 to 3 base economy. But now that it's getting into that late game, that his units or his bases are running out of minerals, he needs to expand. He needs to get that income, or else he's just going to suffocate and die in this game.
Yeah, I mean, suffocate is absolutely the right word here. We haven't seen him do a tech switch since the lurk. I mean, he has the lurkers, but they're really just buying him some time. But he's still trapped on those bases. Meanwhile, look back what we see in the base of Asuna. We see some carriers. We see some void rays. We see gravitic drive plus 2 air weapons. A whole slew of opportunities. I mean, just look at the minimap right now, Gravity, and tell me that that's not sexy if you're the purple Protoss player.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really well done. It's really awesome to see that. And the thing is he also has a lot of detection. He has a lot of map presence and map vision. So if, say, Starkiller were to try to do some kind of crazy attack, it's not going to go unseen. And right now, Asuna has Starkiller right where he wants him. He has him in this defensive position, forcing him to, essentially sit back and have to defend. He can't really go across. I guess maybe he could try to do like some Ling run buys, but he's putting all of his economy, all of his resources to getting more and more of this ground army. While behind this, Asuna is taking up to air, and these lurkers are going to be basically useless.
This is really interesting. I think Asuna is doing like a slow burn of an army readjustment here. Both of these armies moving across the map now. I think Asuna is going to sacrifice all of his ground units to take out as much as he can. Meanwhile, this large air army is here. And of course, Lurker is not going to do diddly squat against that air army. The Void Ray is going to melt down those Corruptors immediately. And the Lurker is going to be completely useless against these carriers. Now, the question is, can Starkiller get enough damage done with this massive number of Lurkers? Man, I just don't think it's in the cards, as there's still a ground army for Asuna alive on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, he's picking off all the reinforcements here from Starkiller. Starkiller just doesn't have enough. We do actually see Asuna with a higher account, so if he needs to, he can make more. But there's just so many Immortals, so many Archons across the map. All of Starkiller's forces are across the map. Going to be GG, as he didn't have anything else to attack with there, so good job.
Wow. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Asuna is going to take this. What a series. A 3-2 series. Very well played by Asuna. Starkiller is going to drop down to our 3rd place bracket and play for a chance at, I think it's, what is the prize pool? Do you know off the top of your head, Gravity?
It is 100, or I don't know off the top of my head. Let me look. It's a $100 prize pool. First place gets $50. Second place gets 30, and then I believe third place gets the extra. Yeah, so 50, 30, 20.
50, 30, 20. That's great. I love to see the 3rd place players get a little bit of love here. So we're gonna allow these players to get going here. I'll tell you what. While we've got a second in between matches, Gravity, why don't you take 45 seconds, tell the good folks at home about the sponsors that are helping us bring these matches, and I'm going to get these matches made while you're doing that.
Alrighty, sounds good. Well, the first sponsor that we have for tonight is 24 Hour Fitness. Now, 24 Hour Fitness is one of the greatest gyms that is out there. For a person like me that works overnights, there's a lot of times where, most gyms, they're closed. You have a night off, you're up all night. It's like, you know what, I want to go to the gym. I want to get my swole on. And unfortunately, they're closed down. But 24 Hour Fitness provides these facilities so that you can go at any time of the day or night, rain or shine, sleet or snow. They're like the Postal Service. They're there for you to work out. They're a great sponsor. They've been with us for a long time. They have so many facilities. They have 336 facilities around the United States. And I'm not sure if they're actually in some other countries as well, but they just do a fantastic job. They have different classes, they have pools, they have everything that you need to get yourself fit. It's the new year, new you. What are you waiting for? Try 24 Hour Fitness today, and thank you again for them for sponsoring today's event.
Thanks so much, Gravity. It is so nice of these players to bring us these Sorry, hold on. My brain cannot do more than one thing at once. All right, so we've got our players coming in to this match. The next one going to be Pacomike versus Percival.
Percival's the caster. Oh no, he isn't. No, that's Pereira.
Pereira's the caster, yeah. Percival is not a caster. I mean, he can cast if he wants to. But going to be Pacomike. Let's see if Pacomike is here in the server. Oh, I don't see him. So we got to see where Paco is right now. And as soon as he gets in, we will be ready to roll with our second match of the day. I'm going to update my little tracking document as well. Starkiller is going to move down into the losers bracket. There's Paco, rock and roll. And Asuna is going to go to that winners bracket. Again, a reminder, guys, the winners match is a best of 7. So that's a lot to go. Okay. Let me see if the players are ready here. All right, Paco. All right, we're waiting for Paco to be ready to roll, and then we'll get going here with Percival versus Paco, a TVP. One of my favorite matchups. Gravity, what's your favorite matchup? Gravity? Hello? Ah, there's Gravity, rock and roll. Stepped away for a water, and I was too busy setting up the game to see that. So he'll be back very shortly. It's just me. It's just me. No, wait. Are you back?
I'm back.
Hooray! You're back, but we've lost Paco.
I hate it because so we have their gates up so that my son loves to play quote unquote StarCraft. He likes to come and click on my keyboard and stuff. And so it feels like I'm running hurdles every time I go to the kitchen because I got to run over 2 toddler gates just to get to get to the kitchen.
Hey, you got to fend off that dad bod somehow, right?
Oh yeah. We're working on getting rid of the flab and staying fab, I guess.
That's right. That's what 24-hour fitness is all about, man. You don't even need to go. You've got the membership, but you don't even need to go to. You're just doing hurdles at home with your buddy.
Oh yeah.
So how old is the little one you got at home, Gravity?
Do I have a home? Yeah, I have a home.
No. How old is the one that you've got at home?
Sorry. He's 18 months, so he's getting ready to turn 19 months at the end of this month. So.
All right, so pretend like I know nothing about human baby, like the tiny ones. So he's 19 months. He can walk now, right?
Yeah, he can walk. He can. It's weird because normally babies his age or toddlers, I guess they consider it, are only able to say 5 or 6 words, but this kid can say run-on sentences. And it's gotten to the point where he's listened to me cast so much that if I have him in the room with me, he will start trying to cast with me. But he'll just kind of babble. So I hear him sometimes in the other room. He can hear me casting, and I just hear him screaming in the background, trying to cast too. It's the hilarious thing.
Wow, I was about to ask. I was so happy to hear that he's ready to cast. I was going to ask when he was going to cast.
Yeah. Well, we always joke around that he's going to be the next big StarCraft 2 player. That he's already beaten Cyril. He's already beaten. That he's a grandmaster.
Sure. We got.
It seems like he likes casting as well.
Do you think is it cheating? Do you have a keyboard? Because his hands are tiny, right? Do you have a tiny keyboard for his tiny hands, and then there's less time for him to get between the keys, so it's actually an advantage because he's got less physical time to move from one key to the other?
A little bit, and he actually just got a one of those little learning keyboard computers for Christmas, and he sits at his little desk and he sits there and starts spamming the keys like he's playing StarCraft. So watches me play too much.
I freaking love it, man. That's so good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He enjoys it. I mean, he's been raised up in StarCraft, so it's kind of a come and go kind of thing.
Beautiful. So we're waiting on our Portuguese caster here, Pereira, who is I'm not sure if we actually need him in the game or not. So we're gonna wait and see exactly what's going on. I want to make sure I don't want to start without without one of our casters, because we are offering this cast in Portuguese as well. Pereira obviously works for Black Knight, who have Percival is one of Black Knight's players, and they've got a couple other really impressive players as well. It's a really cool esports organization. I think probably one of the most prominent in Latin America. I can't think of any more Latin American esports organizations, or at least in StarCraft. Am I missing anybody?
I don't think so. Black Knight's definitely one of the like big names out there that I have seen play. I forget who all plays for them, but they have a really good clan. And anytime we've ever actually had to play them, it's always a tough fight. There he is. Looks like Furs.
Perfect.
There.
Yeah, I know Armani was on Black Knight for a while.
Yeah.
Or is he still on Black Knight? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he is with someone else right now. He's with. Oh no, that's not. That's Giorgio Armani. Never mind.
Slightly different Armani that you're googling right there.
I was like, oh, that's a new logo. Who's Giorgio? Oh.
All right, we're gonna hop into game here. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me double check.
He's actually with a Freak of Freaks right now.
Oh, he may have changed.
I know that they just signed a bunch of players, so it looks like he's with them now.
All right, hold on just a minute here. Let me make sure everything's all right here before we jump into the broadcast. Okay, we get the good luck, have fun from these players, so I think we'll probably just get into it. Awesome. And then hopefully everything's all right. Whatever, guys, let's just get into some StarCraft. The technical difficulties can wait for another day. Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Why everyone restarted? I have no idea.
I don't know.
Oh, hold on,
maybe.
All right, in the top left-hand corner, in the blue, playing as the Terran from Black Knight, it is Percival.
Alrighty, and in the bottom right, in the red, playing as the pieces from Alpha X. Give it up. It is Pacomike.
All right. I thought Pereira was a caster. He's just chilling, watching the games.
Oh, I thought he was. I thought they had set him up to be casting. Huh.
Maybe somebody else from his organization is casting. That might be who. Anyway, I don't know who else in these lobbies. Goodness gracious. All right, so this player named Percival. Do you know anything about him, Gravity?
I don't. I've seen him play like once or twice, but it's been a long time since I've seen him play. He's not one that I see in a lot of the tournaments that I've casted. So I am interested to see how he ends up doing, how his TVP looks, or what kind of style he likes to play. I don't know a whole lot about him. I wish I did, and we'll see. How good he is. Pacomike's one of those players that does like to do some tournaments. He likes to try out for WCS from time to time. It's gonna be interesting. I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Pacomike sneaking a probe around the east side of the map here. We're gonna see a proxy Stargate?
It's possible. On a map this big, it's so hard to scout any kind of proxy. I would love to see him go into like a DT shrine like proxy or something.
Well, there is a Stalker down. It's definitely a possibility. The first Reaper is out from Percival. We'll see if he can get anything done here in the dance. Well, now I wanted to ask you, Gravity, while I got you here. Speaking about players that you know versus players that you don't know. I started my casting career casting like totally random people in bronze to gold league. So every match that I cast, I had no idea who they were. I didn't know their play style. I didn't know what to expect. And oh my God, Twilight Council coming down. I think you might get your wish.
Fingers crossed.
Robo behind it, so it's less likely. Anyway, I started my career casting, nobodies, just people who were playing StarCraft to have fun. And as you get to cast these bigger names, and you be a community caster for stuff, you start to cast players who you know, and you recognize their style, and you can sort of make inferences about what they're going to do. As a caster, which do you appreciate more? calling a series where you've got no idea what's going on, or calling a series where you've got some background for the players and you can kind of make some inferences, but sometimes they're a little predictable?
Overall, I like the ones that I know their style. It gives me myself because a little bit more confidence in casting it. Sometimes if I don't know like what the player's going to do or how they like it, for me personally, I feel like I struggle of finding like how to talk about what's going on. But if I have an idea of what they're going to go for, I can kind of lean the direction that way. But I do think that the games that I don't know what's going to happen are a lot interesting. There's usually a lot of crazy things that happen, especially if you play like a lot of the smaller names. And it looks like I've got my wish, Cretan. I got my wish. It's a DT shrine.
Yeah,
Yay!
yeah, this is happening, baby. So Percival's loading up a double Widowmine drop into his medevac there. He is going to get chased away by these stalkers, and the DTs are probably on their way. Warpgate research has finished up. DT Shrine about 20 seconds away from finishing now. This is looking more and more like it might catch Percival by surprise here. He hasn't scanned, or he hasn't
Yeah, he has
seen it yet. He's got a couple scans saved up.
He doesn't have any scans at all at the moment. He does have a Raven on the way, so that'll be good for him. But at home, he doesn't have really any defense. He's got a couple of Marines, which will help in the natural. But with the Warp Prism, he's going to be able to warp in. It's not going to be seen if he gets right in the right position. And this could get a lot of damage done. Huge hit, though, with the Widow Mines. Gets 13 probe kills.
Wow.
That's some really good value there.
That's
Pacomike
incredible. I can't believe I missed
the Ds there.
I can't believe I missed that explosion on my screen. So what a big hit the Widowmine drop, paying off. The Raven is here though, and now it is time for Percival to get revenge. How many of these can he pick off before his DT is immediately surrounded? Ooh, good micro there with the Warp Prism though, saving one DT.
Yep, he does get 6 kills, which is really nice. The tank already getting in position, and there is a bunker, but it doesn't look like he's ready to drop too much at the moment. He does have enough for a scan, but there's not a whole lot of anti-air right now. There's a couple of Marines that are falling behind. There is a Raven that could potentially, throw down some turrets, but he will get out with the War Prism with one of the DTs. 9 kills, not the best. I mean, it is really good, but considering how many he had lost, not as good a value, but still getting out with that is going to provide him a little bit more value altogether. So can't really complain there.
Yeah, the score has certainly been evened up a little bit. We see the worker count almost identical between these two players. Those two harassments, both pretty successful, I'd say. If only one or only the other had happened, I'd say this game was decisively in favor of whichever player had pulled it off. But in this case, it looks like since both of them succeeded, both of them also failed.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see Stim and +1 coming out here for Percival. Behind this, Pacomike going to be going into more of the gateways. He's got the extended thermal lance coming out. Excuse me, extended thermal lance coming out, as well as Colossus. So we'll be going into that more heavy Colossus kind of zealot style. And I like this, especially since Percival is very heavy in the Marines. Those Colossus are just going to eat them up as long as he keeps them guarded. So Pacomike doing the things he needs to stay in this, but yeah, just got to be careful here.
Yeah, but look, don't count out Percival either. Not that you were, but for our viewers who might be mistaking you saying, oh, Colossi tear through bio units, this is, easy, GG, whatever. Look at this. Percival is also pumping out a lot of Marauders that can tank a couple more shots. He's getting that concussive shell, which is going to make the ground army from Pacomike really difficult to engage into. It becomes really more a battle of positioning than almost anything else. Little Zealot dropping the natural is going to get pushed away here by this large bioforce. But anyway, what I was saying, once you've got that many Marauders, it makes it difficult for Pacomike to engage. The Protoss players gotta stay behind and juggle their ground army a little bit, which means that either their Colossi are exposed up front, or they're behind and not doing their job. Even with extended thermal lance, they might not have the range. So it'll become a game of positioning when that engagement finally happens. A couple little skirmishes going on the map, though. Which one are you watching, Gravity?
I'm watching both of them, actually. I'm kind of flipping between both. We do have some good force fields in the front. The Colossus is going to be able to kind of push things back, and those sentries are going to be a big key in defending this. Now, he does have Blink on the way. We finally see the run by getting cleaned up here in Percival's natural.
I mean, Percival 100% all in here with the boys being pulled, right?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I like this. So Extend Thermal Lance is finished up. We will see the Colossus kind of moving this back as best as possible. There's not a whole lot of defense to help against this, so he has to play this super careful. There's not enough really energy for the force fields on the Sentry. He's going to warp in some more Zealots here. The boys are going to be able to get the Robo before it actually throws out that second um, Colossus there, and we'll be able to get right on top of the tanks. Going to be able to clean this up. Doesn't take too much damage to the Widow Mines. And Percival going to have to back up here, but 25 lost. He still has some workers at home, but doesn't get the job done. The third base still up and alive. The fourth base coming in as well. And now Pacomike with Blink, with Storm on the way, is looking in a fantastic position right now.
Yeah, Percival in a lot of trouble. He's really got to make this attack work. We did see the Robo facility go down, so this Colossi is the last Colossi standing. There's not going to be any more. We do see some Storms coming out, but Storm's still a long ways away here. This Bioforce going to engage into it. Looks like Pacomike a little slow to get back there. Archon's immediately warping in, but it might be too late. Percival might just have enough to break the back of our Protoss player here.
Yeah, this is just not looking good for him. Finally, the Archons are going to warp in here, but is it too late? The addition of a couple of Stalkers will try to push us in, as well as some Zealots. But this army from Percival with +1 is looking scary. He has this timing. If he can get on top of all of this before Storm is finished, even though now he doesn't have any more of those High Templar, he's going to find himself in an even better position. It was looking kind of bad for him, but with this extra attack, just looking more and more good for the Terran player here.
This is a really interesting match so far. I wouldn't call this a successful harassment just yet. Looks like a feedback going down on some of the medevacs. Pacomike playing the long game here, wants to get the medevacs out rather than breaking down the bio units. Some really strategic blinking going on from these Stalkers, and that's going to force Percival up and out in those medevacs. Now, okay, take a second and breathe, Creighton. You got to stop after the match and look at what the aftermath looks like. Units lost, wildly in favor of the Protoss player by 1,500, give or take. Bases still in favor of the Protoss player. Even though he lost his third, Pacomike got this fourth base up. Going to be able to rebuild this third. And look over at the Terran side of the map. If you watched during that fight, there were actually no workers in the main for that entire fight, and the natural instead was wildly oversaturated. The worker count roughly even, but if we look at the income tab, we can see that it was in favor of Pacomike for the last 2.5 minutes. So now he's going to have a chance to spend all those minerals and try and get something done with it. Who won that one? Who's on top, Gravity?
I would love to say that the Protoss is on top, but definitely Percival's economy still, pumping out, still getting better. He does have a third base, but it still landed in the main. And like you said, income-wise, just wasn't looking good for Percival. I think if Pacomike sits back, if he continues to, build up some forces here, it will give him a little bit more of a favor. But Percival's just been relentless with these attacks and just trying to keep Pacomike down.
Yeah, definitely. A little double medevac drop snaking down the east side of the map. Keep an eye on that here. Dark Templar is going to block this third base from going. That's real cute. Here's the scan into the natural, though. And Percival with a big drop. Where is Pacomike's army?
It's over there on the fourth base. Doesn't have any recalls available. He's going to pull the probe out, and it looks like before anything happens, Percival just going to go ahead, return back home. DT will end up going into the main, and there's not a whole lot here. He does see the Ghost Academy. It's going to be researching that the new Ghost EMP upgrade, and his army isn't in place. Does finally have some Stalkers though, so he might be able to blink on top of this if he can get these medevacs. That's just going to be a huge pickup here for Pacomike.
Yeah, Pacomike able to stabilize a little bit here, able to stem the bleeding just a bit. That drop will go down, actually. Still a little slow on the drop, Pacomike is. So Percival is going to get the drop down. Going to be able to start harassing the Stalker line, forcing another pull out from the natural. Both of these medevacs still alive. A lot of that bio still there, picking up, getting out, and doing a really, really nice job of not overcommitting. Behind this, Pacomike adding on a new robo facility a while ago, beginning that Colossus production again. But, oh man, it's going to take a long time to get up to a scary amount of Colossi. And in fact, he's not going to bother going straight into Disruptor tech. What do you think? Disruptors better than Colossi?
I think in this situation, yes, because the fact that Percival's, army count is getting up there. He's been clumping up his units a lot. If you can get some good Disruptor shots, that's really going to hemorrhage anything that Percival's trying to do here. And especially now that it's going to be heavy Widow Mines, if you can get those Disruptors on top of the mines, it's going to shut everything down and that potential. So I like the move for that. He just needs to execute it, and
Percival,
over.
we thought he had gone all in earlier. He's going all in a second time, pulling the boys again, going for a full all-out attack. This time, not a single SCV left back home, just a couple mining gas, and this is going to be a massive, massive aggression from our Terran player.
What is this? 2018?
Yeah, I mean,
the
come
boys
on.
can
Choo choo, baby.
The pool again.
So Ghost's moving forward here. He's got to get some nice EMPs on his clumped up Protoss army, and that's exactly what he wanted. Some great EMPs. The entire ground army losing all their shields. Still a couple units in the back here. Some good storms weakening some of the SCVs, but really, Percival looking to be in a dominant position so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's really forcing Pacomike to play defensive here. If he can keep up the storms, that's going to be nice, but he's not going to be able to get on top of the army on the 4th base. He might have to sack that. Beautiful EMPs once again, but a really nice storm on a good chunk of this army. Looks like the Stalkers will go ahead and blink forward here. The Zealot's going to charge in. No more beautiful disruptor shots. And GG, and Pacomike manages to hold on and will get the victory there.
Wow! Gravity, if you had showed me that setup 99 times... No, let me start over. If you had showed me that setup 100 times, I would have told you that the Protoss player was screwed 99 of those 100 times.
Yeah,
Instead, somehow, unbelievably, Pacomike pulls it out, and Percival is going to go down 0 games to 1.
Yeah, just altogether really well played there. Pacomike played it patiently. The storms were just killer. And unfortunately, you know, Percival wasn't moving out of the storm, so his units were taking the brunt of the force. He lost all of his units, all of his workers to the initial kind of attack. So whenever this second attack did end up happening, nothing was there to defend. There was no meat shield. The storms were able to take care of a lot of the Widow Mines. There wasn't any of that additional splash damage. When the Zealots came in, it was just all over from there.
Yeah, definitely. He tried to split his army, and just didn't quite have enough on either side. Sometimes we see these players try and do the pincer movement, and get surface area on both sides of their opponent. But if you don't have enough in your army to really damage anything, then damage both sides of the army at the same time, then really you're just separating into 2 half-crappy armies.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good because the EMPs from Percival were excellent. He was able to eliminate a lot of the shields from the units. That really mattered, but he wasn't able to get the High Templar, and those High Templar were so crucial. The shots from the Disruptor was the nail in the coffin, and unfortunately, Percival just could not overcome that, especially going all in as he did.
Yeah, a little bit of, I'd say, a blunder from Percival there, as he just stood in a lot of storms. His ghosts weren't able to get the EMPs that they just quite needed. Very well engaged there by Pacomike, and Percival, I think, is going to have to try real hard in game number 2 if he wants to put up some numbers.
Yeah, I think he has a good start, but he needs to do a little bit more there. He might need to change it up and get a little bit more aggressive, or just force Pacomike out of his comfort zone, force him out of that defensive position, and get the victory. But we'll see if he can do it here in game number 2.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. Let me increase the... Holy crap, 100 star balloons. What's up? BWW in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting Africa TV and all the work we're doing here at Alpha X. It means a lot to us. Jeez, that's so cool. Dang.
That's awesome.
All right, let's introduce our players.
Yay.
Let me introduce our players, and then I want to talk about a little bit about what your headspace is like as a Terran player who's down 1 game. So, the Terran player, currently down 1 game, hailing from Black Knight Gaming, it is Percival.
And in the bottom right, in the red, playing as the Protoss, currently up 1-0 from Alpha X, it is Pacomike.
So, Gravity, you're a Terran player these days.
Yes.
Filthy Earthican. Got humanitis real bad. You're in a best of 3, best of 5 series.
Yes.
Against a Protoss player. You lose the first game. The genuinely a very well-fought first game, right? That wasn't a blowout. Both players kind of back and forth a little bit, evenly matched. What are you thinking in game number 2? You gonna try and rush something out? You gonna try and maybe draw it out into a longer macro game, try a wacky drop strategy? What do you go for if you're a Terran player here?
I think in this case, if I know that it's been close, it was back and forth. I play my same style that I'm comfortable with. I kind of sit back in between the game and just sit there and say, okay, this is where I made my mistakes. This is kind of it was kind of a wonky start. There was DTs, there was all this. Let me play my style, just make sure I scout, do my thing, and I should be okay. Maybe attack a little bit earlier, maybe change something here and there. But with how close it was or how good of damage I was doing, I just need to play my style. Maybe game two in a best of 5 series, you throw out a little bit of cheese or maybe do some kind of wonky build. But I'm going to play my style and just try to do better. If it doesn't work in game two that way, then definitely change it up. But
And that's where I think there's a lot of the intrigue here with some of these players that maybe we're not as familiar with. Players like Percival, who we haven't seen play on the world stage as often. It's super interesting to see, what is he going to consider his strength? What is he going to do to really make himself stand out? And in this case, look at what he is doing to throw a wrench to throw a spanner into the work of Pacomike here. We got a proxy Stargate going down.
yeah, the starport's going to be really nice here for Percival. I like this. We see this a lot more from like Maru does it from time to time, as well as Special.
Hang on a minute, Gravity. I'm going to interrupt you for a minute. Sorry, Percival missed his skill check there and did get a sneak and adept into the main base, and he's going to get a pretty good scout off as well. All right, apologies. I just want to call attention to that.
You're good. You're good. Sorry. But no, we see a lot of these players do this, and one, it allows the star, whatever you're building, which this case, it is going to be a medevac, so going to go into a Hellion drop. Will allow this to hit a little bit quicker, but then also your opponent's not going to see it coming. He doesn't know that there's a starport out, and it could throw out a whole big wrench. We do see Pacomike going into double stalkers here, and going into the robotics facility, so more than likely we should see potentially some like immortal blink kind of style play coming out, but this could get some damage done if it can get as enough as the previous attack from the previous series. But it looks like actually does he see it?
No, okay, he hasn't seen it yet.
This is actually really freaky.
Yeah, he's about to. It's a really good read.
Comes over just in time.
I mean, look, obviously, anytime you're a Protoss player and you see that there's a couple Hellions out, you don't see any further tech, you've got to suspect there's something on the map that's a little sneaky. These Hellions will get into the natural, maybe get a couple shots off, though, on these probes. If he lines them up, there's 5 down so far. 6? All right. Not too bad for 6 probes for the cost of 2 Hellions.
Yeah, not bad at all. He still gets out with one of the Hellions. We do see a follow-up into Bio. He has basically everything he needs to defend any aggression coming out from Pacomike, but Pacomike just going to go straight into a third base. He's like, okay, I defended that, nothing too crazy. Let me just get my blink, get everything set up, and then we'll see that big attack. And on a map like Nightshade, there's so many good blink spots to come across. It's going to be tough for the Terran, but as long as he can scout and see where everything is at, he should be in a good spot.
It's real confidence, isn't it, to drop a third base after you push away the first initial harass and lose 6 probes, and Pacomike is still like, yeah, I'm all right. I'll drop a third base. Ain't no thing. Double forge behind it was now. So this is one thing that we saw Asuna doing in the first couple games, where after repelling the initial attack, they would drop so much money into their tech that they maybe were a little underprepared for this aggression that's coming up right now. We see Percival moving into position, and if we look at the units tab, there are 9 stalkers on the map. That's not a whole lot, man. 1 siege tank could make mincemeat of this, and we already see a couple bunkers going down. Percival digging in for the long game.
Yeah, definitely. This is a really good push coming out from Percival. The tank in an excellent spot as well, going to start chipping away at the Nexus, trying to push back the Stalkers as much as possible. That Cyclone in the back will be able to lock on a good chunk of these units and start, trying to eliminate as many of the Stalkers as possible. Bunker almost finished, and once that bunker finishes up, it's going to be really tough here for Pacomike to save this.
Yeah, it's going to be even tougher to dislodge what is already a pretty frustrating push. So let's look into our crystal balls, Gravity, and look into the future. This third base goes down, right? Percival is still attacking here. How does he get out of this situation?
Well, Pacomike is doing a really good job of actually just trying to shut down the tanks. If he can shut those down, he's going to be in a good spot. Percival, though, can find himself in a little bit of trouble. It looks like he had lost a few SCVs there, which was with that initial push. But the big concern for Percival right now is going to be this counterattack. What does he have at home? He's got a handful of Marines and a couple of Marauders. He has a tank, or excuse me, he has the factory remaking a reactor. He's not going to have a whole lot of defense here to guard against this. And with Blink, Pacomike could just blink straight into the main if he wants to.
Oh my god, he could. He's got the observer up there, doesn't he? Ooh, that might be a really spicy little move here. Gonna try and, oh, look at that Blink micro, getting one Blink Stalker out at a time, moving him out of the fray here. Loses one Stalker, and the army's still looking pretty solid from Percival. Is gonna chase Pacomike away. I don't think that went as well as Pacomike had hoped it would.
No, definitely not. And we even see the third base now for Percival finally moving out. Pacomike, at least, is gonna keep Percival back for the moment. We do see Percival, going up and trying to build more of an economy. And then, like I said, once it seems like Percival is really good at, once he gets that macro going, he gets those cycles going, he just continues to pump out units, which has really kind of saved him in some of these games, or the game that we had last time anyways. But should be good. We got +1 finishing up, Blink's done as well, Charge finishing up, and everything just looking good. So what does Pacomike do behind this, besides maybe just getting some more zealots and maybe go into some immortal play and just try to mass up from here?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question right now. I'm surprised we don't see a Robo Bay. I would expect, Colossi Disruptor, something against all of these bio units, or at least Storm, which again, he doesn't have. No High Templar out just yet. We see more Immortals coming out. I think it's a strange response from Pacomike to get units that don't quite have the splash damage that you would expect for a large bio ball like that. But even more curious. Go on, sorry?
Oh, I was just going to say, well, he does have a robotics bait done.
Oh.
But he just hasn't used it. It's in the main at the bottom. He's starting just now to research.
Yeah.
He's starting to get Colossus out. But like you said, it's weird that he doesn't have that out already. He doesn't have Storm or anything like that being researched. But he is going very tech heavy, and that could be the downfall here of Pacomike. And this is exactly what Percival needs. He needs to get aggressive and not let Pacomike tech up to what he wants. Oh, the Artosis could be really bad.
Oh man, he's definitely going to pick off Extended Thermal Lance. This drop in the main going to be brutal as the reinforcements are cutting off from Percival here. And oh my god, going to the main, he's going to get the Colossi as well. What a death blow from Percival. Picking off Extended Lance, picking off the Colossi, or the Robo with the Colossi making, and only losing one medevac full. Meanwhile, reinforcements steaming into the completely undefended third. I think Percival's got this game in the bag.
Definitely. He's really pushing himself forward here. He will end up losing the units of this drop, but on the other side here at the third base, he's going to throw down a couple of mines. Beautiful Widow Mine shots will loosen up and hurt this army. Percival will go ahead and back up for the time being here, but he is putting himself in a pretty good spot. 74 army supply to 48. It's just looking really good right now here for Percival. He's got that +1, +2 on the way, and he is just pushing full force right now. He's got Fusion Core, he's got Ghost Academy. Are we going to see BCs in this?
Man, I don't know if the game will get quite that far. I think Percival has won this game, if not now, maybe 5 minutes from now. He's cut off that key production from Paco. You can see Paco just starting to make 2 more Immortals because he can't afford to make 2 Colossi, I don't think. He doesn't have the minerals for it. He's trying to warp in more Zealots and get a ground army against a Bioforce that's getting scarier and scarier.
Yeah, it's just not looking good right now here for Pacomike. Percival definitely warmed up now and ready to go, saying, you know what, if you're going to try to cheese me game 1 or try to do something wonky, I'm just going to go ahead and shut you down right now. And looking really good. He's even going to go down back to this third base. Pacomike out of position. The Widow Mine's going to get in beautiful position here. There's no detection with this army. Keep in mind that. So they're not going to be able to see the Widow Mines until they actually go off, getting just so many good shots off. And this is just looking so good for Percival.
Yeah, another great defense by Pacomike. Like, let's not talk him down too much. He's done a really good job making a mountain out of a molehill here, protecting himself with very, very little. But now we see Liberator range coming out. We see Liberators coming from that from the starports back home. That's going to just add even more teeth to this bio army. Going to make it even more difficult. It's going to force Pacomike to crank out more Stalkers, which are more flimsy against the Marauders that we're seeing now. As long as he can catch up on upgrades, I think Percival's going to do really, really well in this game.
Yeah, Percival does need to be careful, though, not to overextend. Like you said, Pacomike's doing a really good job of defending as best as he can. He's getting those units He's getting the upgrades. He's trying to get. He just now got his robotics bay back up, and now going to go into disruptors once again. Um, as long as he can continue to defend and these disruptors get some good shots off, I would love to see Pacomike come back in this. I don't think he's necessarily completely out, but if he doesn't do something against the masses of this marine bioforce, he will find himself in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, baiting out a couple of not so great force fields here. Widowmine's moving into position. Percival's setting up for a bit more of a siege. He's got to move down under the safety of these Liberators, and he can't forget his control groups. He's got a couple units in the back, not even fighting right now. He needs every single Liberator to provide complete coverage of this battlefield so that their DPS is raining down every second of every fight. He cannot continue to fight outside of this Liberator range and expect to walk away with a victory.
I like this. Pacomike in the main base of Percival is going to go ahead and start working in some units here very soon. Or at least he has the Warp Prism there. We'll see if he actually does anything with it. But it's very focused right now, trying to defend on this third base. The Disruptor Ball is up top. Doesn't have any attacks just yet, but we'll see. Ooh, we'll get the Liberator. No, he won't. What is he doing? No!
Cute move there from Pacomike, trying to sneak up behind and take out the Liberators from the backside with those Stalkers. Not quite going to be enough, though, as this Bio Ball has a lot of mobility, has a lot of flexibility. Going to be able to flip around back behind and chase him wee all the way back home. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism in the main going to get taken down by Liberators also. Ah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. The fourth base is out and done. We've got fifth base on the way for Percival. Behind this, I do like that Pacomike still has a third base. He's got that fourth base being rebuilt. So he's still trying to get the workers. Worker count, 68 to 77. Not terrible considering all the pressure, all of the denies and stuff that have been going on. And even has +3 on his attack. So he's still looking okay, but definitely with the Liberator range coming into play, just not looking good.
Yeah, Advanced Ballistics is finished up. That's going to give Percival so much more play here. Huge EMPs going down. Not a Protoss shield to be found. And now the Soldiers of Ire are just melting under the bio. Pacomike GG's out. And Percival brings it back 1-1. What a game.
Yeah. What a game. They almost had some really good disruptor shots off there, but the DPS output from Percival was just way too much there for Pacomike, and wasn't able to get the shots off, unfortunately. So really well done there.
Wow. What a crazy good game. So I gotta ask, Raven, did you watch Game of Thrones?
I'm watching it.
Okay.
I'm in like the 4th season or 3rd season, whatever it is.
It's actually okay. So you're past season 1. You know that dragons exist, right?
Oh yeah, I basically know like everything that happens in Game of Thrones. It all.
You cut out there for a second, but I heard you know everything that happens in Game of Thrones, and I'm asking this. I'm asking this for a specific reason. I promise. I'm not just like chit chatting with you.
No, yeah, no, I know basically everything that happens in Game of Thrones. I haven't watched it all yet, but I know about the dragons and all that.
So one of my favorite theories of why the Game of Thrones universe, why Westeros is still in like the medieval ages, right? Like why they have gunpowder, but for some reason they're not like building guns and stuff. My favorite explanation is that the answer to that is just dragons. There's no point in developing any sort of technology if every 100 years somebody comes along with dragons, destroys your entire civilization, and burns you back to the Stone Age, right? I feel like I'm going to bring this back, I promise. I feel like that's exactly what happened last game, where Percival was able to destroy the technology of Pacomike again and again. As soon as he got some Colossi up, he'd burn them down. As soon as he got some Disruptors up, he'd burn them down. And therefore, Paco stayed in the Dark Ages. And Percival was able, or pardon me, Paco stayed in the Dark Ages, and Percival was able to capitalize.
Yeah, I mean, it really felt like, the whole time, you kind of noted on it a little bit, like, you feel like if you lose, some kind of tech, or you lose, like, an army or something like that, it just feels so hard as a Protoss to come back, and definitely that was the case for Pacomike in that game, is he kept trying to tech up, he kept trying to do these things, but he just could not do it. it just kept setting him back further and further, and he would try to come back and rebuild that tech. Like you said, just kept getting knocked down and bringing him back to the medieval ages. So overall, just such a good game, such a good series so far. So
I appreciate you played along with my admittedly pretty stretched metaphor there.
you're good. I love it. I love how people can come up with like different metaphors for things or like explanations for stuff. So it's really cool to see that, and I haven't ever heard anyone to use Game of Thrones as a reference like that. So that's really cool.
I always tell people it's because I'm a very dumb person, so I'm used to explaining the world to myself in the terms that only a dumb person would understand. So I do a lot of like really dumb connections between stuff because my brain is just not ready to really access the complexity of the real world. Oh,
That's a,
but
that's why I just read books that have pictures in it. 'Cause that way I could get an understanding what's going on.
very wise. Well, all right, some guys who definitely have bigger brains than both of us combined here. In the bottom right-hand corner in the blue, from Alpha X, currently tied 1-1 in this best of 5. It is Pacomike.
And in the top left, looking to get a little bit cheeky here in game number 3. It's the Terran player from Black Knight. It is Percival.
I think they switched colors on us, haven't they? Wasn't Percival blue last time? Oh, that's going to throw me for a loop.
They tend to switch sometimes.
Blizz, please, for quality of life. Anyway, it's going to be fine. We'll figure it out. All right, so Percival wins game 2 after a pretty good push, honestly. He stayed active. He stayed aggressive. He was on top of all of his engagements. He didn't get lazy. I will say, last game, I saw Pacomike making a few errors, actually. Just, hold on. What am I talking about? I don't want to talk about the last game. I want to talk about this game right now. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, I almost called you Percival. Are you seeing what I'm seeing, Gravity?
Yes, I am. This is just insane. He's going to go into a bunker on the bottom ground. Actually, we'll reveal this to Pacomike. What do you do if you're a Protoss in this? You see a bunker going down, you automatically, oh, God, here we go. We do see the SCV coming in, and we also have more of those Marines getting set up. And I almost kind of fear here for Pacomike. I mean, he does have the Zealot coming out with a Finally Stalker as a follow-up, but what do you do?
Man, I was about to say that controlling the high ground was important, and you've got to push away any SCV or any units on the high ground. But of course, he's just going to scout with that second barracks, and immediately we see that bunker go to work. Looks like the Stalker is probably going to get out here. Oh my God, it's going to be close. Oh man, it's going to be close. Is the Stalker going to get out? Stalker's going to get out. Oh!
Just barely. Oh.
Stalker gets out at the last second. Pylon will repower that gateway, but the gateway might not be long for this world either. And in fact, I think the gateway is going to go down also.
Yeah, this is such a good play from Percival. He's using the SCVs to heal up the bunker to make sure that it doesn't fall down. And Pacomike needs to do something. He does finally have the shield battery to kind of heal this up a little bit, but once that energy falls out, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it looks like second Stalker will finish up. So it'll be 2 Stalkers. He's going to stop catch the building of this bunker is natural, which is really nice. It's important that of course stops. Does pick off an SCV as well, forces a cancel. But the gateway goes down, and it's just 2 Stalkers now against everything else.
But look here, into the main for Percival. Pacomike sends across the Zealot, going to start working. Does get the kill on the CC building SCV. Going to continue to put on his own pressure. So far, he's killed off a couple of SCVs of his own. We'll see finally more of the tech coming out from Pacomike behind this, but so far, good plays from both sides.
What a strange game so far. Gateway being rebuilt by Paco. Percival is about to chase away that Zealot. Oh man, no, never mind. The Zealot is going to get another kill here, slowing it down even more. Zealot with 2 kills so far. Okay, the Zealot is going to go down, but not before getting a 3rd kill. Not bad there for the aggressive Zealot from Percival. Or from Pacomike, rather. And Paco's even going to shoot down that barracks, too.
Yeah, this is, exactly kind of what Pacomike wants. He's going to go into a robotics bay behind this. He's already got the War Prism coming out. He's going to be able to go into essentially like a 4-gate from this and start putting on even more pressure. Go in. He realizes it's just going to be mainly Marines. There is a Cyclone here for Percival, but overall, not going to have a whole lot to defend against us. And what do you do behind this? If
Well,
you're Pacomike, you just go in and try to put the pressure, or do you sit back knowing, you know what, maybe I'm a little bit better off than I thought I am.
yeah, I mean, let's start with the pieces that are on the board right now. Obviously, Paco Mike hoping to warp in a couple more zealots. Pardon me, a couple more stalkers and maybe get some maybe blink later. No, go straight into disruptor. Okay. Obviously, Paco Mike could have gone forward with those stalkers and tried to get something done right away. It looks like that's not going to be the case. He is going to sit back home. What's important, I think he's making the right call there, whether he knows it or not, because of this cyclone back home for Percival. Cyclones are the natural predator of war prisms, man. The lock-on range of those cyclones is absolutely insane. And to try and sneak a warp prism in here is going to be really, really deadly. But now Paco Mike, against my advice, is going to poke in.
Well, that's one of the bad things about having a minute delay is he's able to exactly. So he's just going to do his own thing. He does get the Viking, which is a really nice pickup, and you'll be able to get out with all of the stalkers just barely surviving that warp prism.
Wow! One more Viking shot, one more Cyclone hit, and that Warp Prism would have been toast. As it is,
Yeah.
so far, Paco Mike has not lost a whole lot this game, aside from his initial pylon and gateway slowing him down.
Yeah, it's been really good for Pacomike. He's even got his third base up and running. Currently sitting at 51 workers to the 33 here of Percival. His economy is booming. He's got Colossus coming out. He is just looking really good. I think as long as he sits here, he builds up a good force. He can go across and attack. We do have a Banshee coming out for Percival, though. But I don't know if that's going to get a whole lot done here.
Well, yeah, a couple of observers already out on the map. One across the map looking, and of course one back home. Banshee is out now. Percival going to try and get some shots off here. But a warping of stalkers, and the observer should be coming back quite shortly. The Banshee's going to cloak, but it will get smoked here before too long. Where's that observer?
Does get 5 kills. Not too bad.
Oh yeah, that's not too bad at all. Where's that second observer?
There's one with the group now.
Okay, there it is.
Stalkers.
Must have rallied it back, but oh my god, look at this. Percival pulling the a couple SCVs again to heal up these tanks. He wants to end this game right now.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to pull the army up. Pacomike out of position, get set up. Feels like he needs to get something done, or it's going to be Pacomike's game. I love this so much. Both of the tanks going to siege up. A couple of bunkers will help out as well. The Banshee going to swing around and play a little bit more of a defense. The Cyclone's looking to lock on. He just needs to be careful of this Colossus. He might find himself in a good position. Here come the Stalkers. No blink is available. We do have charge finishing up in 10 seconds, and we do finally have extended thermal lance. But what does Pacomike really have? And this army's just getting out of control here for Percival.
Yeah, well, the Warpins are getting a little bit better here for Paco. A couple Zealots with charge are going to help out a whole lot to add some bulk underneath that Colossi. Second Colossus is about to pop out as well. The third base is sacked. 6 probes do go down. Is Percival overstaying his welcome now? One big disruptor shot could end this thing.
Oh!
A late siege up on the tanks as well. That's not going to do any favors for Percival. Oh my god, the Banshees are out though, and they are worth their weight in gold here, really picking down the gateway army of Pacomike. Now there's only 3 Stalkers left, and that's not going to be quite enough. The Banshees, 3 Banshees should be able to take out 3 Stalkers, easy peasy, as these tanks leapfrog their way up into the main.
Yeah, unfortunately, Colossus cannot shoot up, and Percival doing a really good job of taking care of all of the Stalkers. There's going to be a disruptor shot, but not going to be enough. GG will be called, and Percival going to take game number 2.
Wow, so we were talking a little bit early, you know, we don't know as much about these players as we thought. We don't know very much about Percival. We're very quickly learning a lot about Percival's playstyle.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those players that likes to bring the aggression.
Worker count and asserting some dominance for sure, but not getting what he wanted to get done. But also, more importantly, I think behind this, he's had the premonition to say, okay, I'm not going to win with this attack. What am I going to build behind this tech-wise? And what does it look like, Gravity? What has he got coming back for us?
He's got those lurkers, man.
Yeah.
He's got that lurker den down. He's got the infestation pit, so he will be looking to go up to hive potentially. I would love, even though I know this isn't going to happen, but I would love to see Starkiller utilize some swarm hosts. I think in this situation with what he has, if he can stretch Pacomike out a little bit more, get some kind of swarm host tech, and then Nidus Swarm would be really nice, but I don't even know if he will even need it. Does get the 4th base cancel, which is really nice, and it looks like he is about ready to move across and attack once again, slowly sieging up and moving forward. I do like this run by, though, from Pacomike up in the 3rd base. Going to be able to get the queen. We'll be able to get a couple of SC or drones as well, and yeah.
Really not too bad. And there's the hive you were talking about earlier. So yeah, Starkiller definitely is going to get up there, try and get some high tech out here with that hive. Not sure what it's going to be yet. I think Broodlords would be an unusual choice, certainly, to go with Lurkers. It seems like that army might be very immobile, but
Yeah.
Starkiller has surprised us with army compositions before, including that game where he tried to go Ultralisks at the very end, much to our surprise and ultimately much to his chagrin.
Yeah, I definitely think Ultras would be the better play here
Mm-hmm.
altogether. Oh, I'm dying. What happened?
My game is also stopped. Is it me again? Oh, it's gravity.
Mine. Yeah, it's my.
It's okay, you're back.
Okay. I don't know what happened there.
Goodness gracious. Little hiccups here and there, that's okay. We are amateurs casting an amateur tournament. But look at this, Starkiller having to fend off Pacomike, getting into his 4th base here. Paco really putting some pressure on Archons and Immortals, but there's not a lot of Gateway Army left here. And these Lurkers are doing a lot of damage. Wow, Hydralis even getting up front and chasing this army down. This is looking really rough.
Yeah, the big thing right there in that fight is there was no detection for Pacomike. This has been the killer each time the Protoss has been attacking. Those Lurkers need vision, and unfortunately, Pacomike hasn't had that vision. I mean, he had but he didn't have enough energy to tag them. So, very well done there from Starkiller. A little bit of an overextension from Pacomike, and it has definitely shown. Now we do see a little bit of a run by that was trying to happen, but already Starkiller was able to fend it off and just continue to siege up here.
Well, let me correct you there, Gravity. Actually, that run by was actually the Zealots that had taken out this 12 o'clock base for Starkiller. And they were just retreating. So I was going to say, you pointed out all the things that went really well for Starkiller in that engagement, and you're absolutely correct. But I think there's a second side to that coin where he did lose that 4th base again, and his income is not looking quite as nice as a Zerg income needs to look if he's going to keep taking these costly engagements. So both players really showing us that that fight, I don't think it was very decisive. Both players lost stuff they couldn't afford to lose.
Yeah, definitely. And now we see them both going on opposite sides of the map. Potential base trade situation here, as Starkiller will go ahead and siege up on top of this 4th base once again. We'll be able to take it out very easily. Even going to get on top to make sure, hey, you cannot come up here. Zealots are trying to run up as well. And again, there's not really a whole lot of detection. Looks like there is an observer coming in here that will eventually show up, but this is just a massive force right now here from Starkiller. Pacomike going to go ahead and siege up on top of all of these. Does he have enough? The Archons trying to deal damage. Looks like he will be able to get a good chunk of the Lurkers, but will have to move back. And there's just so many Hydras that he can redo. And the creep spread getting across, trying to help bring more and more of the reinforcements here is just looking really good right now for Starkiller. But Pacomike definitely not out of it yet. He's building up his forces. He's getting +3. He has shield batteries at the ready. He has Storm as well, and that could be the killer. Hydras just melt like butter to these Storms.
Absolutely. We are seeing all the Lurker upgrades finishing up. 6 more Lurkers morphing in here for Starkiller. He's going to commit to this Lurker push very, very heavily. Now, there are still some observers on the map for Paco. And again, we're seeing a Zealot run by there, forcing cancel on that 5th base. Paco hoping he can starve Starkiller out, and Starkiller hoping that he can move in for the finishing blow. All right, Lurkers are getting down here. Looks like the Observer is in time, though, so the front 3 Lurkers are going to get taken out on the low ground there. However, the high ground Lurkers are going to be able to do a lot of damage as the reinforcing Hydralisks show up here. What an interesting army composition here from Starkiller. 100% Lurker Hydralisk. It reminds me of some Silver League games I've played.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those ones when you first start out, you just mass up one unit, and it seems like this has really been working well. And because Pacomike has been going for such a ground-based army, it works out so well. And now the siege is just too much. We do have the shield batteries running out of energy. The Immortals are going to start falling as well. The Hydras will be able to pounce on it right away. It's going to go straight up to the natural, and this is just not looking good right now here for Pacomike.
Hey, on the other side of the map, though, Pacomike taking out almost 30 drones right now. Looks like one or two more Zerg bases are going to fall here, but his natural is under siege. This is going to be a really, really interesting end to this game, forcing a recall Pacomike rather.
Yeah. I mean, this is really kind of scary too, right? Pacomike doesn't have a whole lot as far as income. He doesn't have a whole lot saved up. Starkiller has almost 1,700 income with the about 900 gas. So if he does end up losing this, he's going to be able to rebuild. He's going to be able to make units at home, while Pacomike is going to struggle to respawn as well. We see already 95 army supplied at 59. So as long as he doesn't lose all of his bases, Starkiller is pushing himself towards a victory. Now, Pacomike does have a chance to get on and to do this, but he needs to find some solution for those lurkers without just walking in and killing them. But when you have so many Hydras, you have lurkers in your base, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, Pacomike really in the unenviable position right now of trying to attack up the ramp into his main. All of his tech structures have been completely gone. He's sending some expeditionary forces across the map. These zealots trying to pick off what they can to cut off reinforcements, but at the same time we see more lurkers being morphed in. We see overseers getting morphed in to help with the observer problem. And again, the warp prisms, the tech structures, Pacomike now hard supply capped as Starkiller is just cleaning out his bases, and he's got plenty back home to defend against this zealot force. I think this may be the death knell here for Pacomike.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job with the run buys. He's able to pick off a couple of bases, but that's all he's been able to do. And like you said, there's just so much of a defense. He's even got the observers. He's got everything that he needs. Starkiller is just looking really good. And, you know, Pacomike, he's trying to build up some more forces. He's trying to get some kind of economy, some semblance of something going. But it's just looking like it might be the final countdown here for Pacomike.
Yeah, I mean, don't count him out just yet, but it's looking rough. He does still have 3 Immortals, 2 Archons, some healthy units, a lot of Storms saved up on those High Templars. 6 High Templars with at least 1 Storm each, if not a little bit more. Now he's just got to be very, very cautious here and not get taken out by those Immortals. Smart play there by Starkiller to uproot his lurkers and get him out of there.
Yeah, and I like this as well from Pacomike. He's starting to split up his army a little bit just to make sure that if there is some kind of run by, if there's something going, he has some way to defend. We see on the other side, Starkiller starting to expand out again and go back into it. And like you said, he's got some storms saved up. If he could land some good storms onto the lurkers, that could change things for sure. But the big problem is he has no way of air. He has nothing to just go in there. And if he sends a bunch of these High Templars in, they're going to fall under pressure. So it's one of those really tough situations that, you know, how do I defend this? How do I, you know, overcome that situation?
Little Hydralisk run by. They're going to pick off 5 probes for the cost of 3 Hydralisks. At this point in the game, probably worth it to stop your opponent from mining any more than he possibly can. The income graph still relatively even for these 2 players, but oh man, a great storm there on the main ramp there. Going to take out a lot more Hydralisks. The army supply getting slightly more even, oh no, Starkiller not controlling very well there. Is going to lose every single last Hydralisk. Oh, save for 1. Poor guy.
Wow.
This is going to be a fascinating game to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I like this. Gonna have a zealot come across, try to help put some pressure on, but will eventually fall. Now at home, we still have 16 lurkers. There's 6 Hydras, so there's still some semblance of a force. But again, now Pacomike's army does look very scary. Even though it's like half the army cost, it still has a lot of damage potential. And as long as he doesn't overextend or just lose too much to the lurkers, there is a potential of him winning this. He's definitely trying to make the ways to come back in this. He's adding on additional gateways and getting every kind of defensive thing that he can, and still trying to attack. So.
Yeah, Pacomike setting up for an attack here, an assault on the 4th base here of Starkiller. Starkiller has a couple lurkers down already, but most of them are out of position actually. And with an observer here, this is going to allow Pacomike to drive in here, taking out a lot of Starkiller's forces. Look at this stage in the game with this low economy. You can't afford to lose any unit that isn't absolutely necessary in an attack. Huge storm on the mineral line. All 10 drones going to go down. Another great storm, but the storm energy is lessening, and now the High Templar are getting picked off left and right. losing a lot of High Templar for the cost of 11 drones. From a third-party perspective, we know that probably wasn't worth it, but I think Pacomike's actually probably pretty happy with that.
Yeah, but little does he know there's a big force coming down to the third base, or the new base that was morphed here. All he really has now is a couple of Archons and a couple of Zealots. He still has the 3 Immortals, which is nice, but he hasn't been able to use them. He's been trying to somehow deal with the Lurkers.
I believe in a chess match they would call this a skewer, where you've got some units that are protecting another unit and you can't move them or else that third unit will die. But here we go, yeah, Lurkers moving into that third base, and that third base is almost certainly toast. This could be the end of the game here, as the very last semblance of Pacomike's army disappears, and Starkiller is going to walk away with third place in our tournament and $20 in his pocket. What do you think, Gravity? Well worth it?
Yeah, definitely. That's at least a pizza. We know Starkiller is kind of like the pizza guy, so maybe he'll buy some pizza from that. But especially in like a small tournament like this, if you can walk away with anything, that is just the best thing there.
All right. So what we're gonna do, guys, really quickly. I hate to do it to you, but I have been sitting here casting for what are we in live for 3.5 hours now. I need another quick break just before the finals, so we're gonna go to our interstitial screen. Gravity, why don't you take a quick break? We're going to take about 3 minutes, and then as soon as we get back, we will bring you the finals of the Alpha X Super Standard Show Match 137 with our finalists, Asuna and Percival. Sound good to you, Grant?
Pew, pew.
I'll take that as a yes. All right, gang, we're going to throw 3 minutes on the clock, and we will be back shortly after this. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Alpha Pro Series Super Standard Show Match 137. You are joining us at the best possible time for this match. It is the finals, baby!
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Heck yeah, and we have brought you two of the finest players available. Fighting his way out of an incredible best of 5 in our first match was Asuna, winning 3-2. His opponent in this best of 7 finals will be Percival, a Terran player who has shown himself wonderfully. Now, before we do start this match, and we're waiting for the players to get into the lobby here, I am going to just quickly give a shout out, a bit of a thanks, a quick note for one of the Alpha X sponsors, one of the companies that is helping to make these matches possible. Guys, it's early January. You probably got some games for Christmas, didn't you? You've probably finished some of those games already because you're a nerd and you don't have any friends and you play video games all the time. If you want to make some money back on those video games and buy more video games with that money, we encourage you to go to GameStop. They buy, sell, trade, every game under the sun for every system. GameStop has been very, very generous in their sponsorships of the Alpha X show matches, and we just want to take a minute to thank them for their support and to tell you to go to GameStop. And with that, we're going to get Asuna into this last match, I think. Maybe. He keeps electing not to join the lobby. Do you think he just wants to quit?
Yeah, I think he's tired. He's done. He's like, you know what? I do not want to face this Terran. It's actually kind of surprising. I actually went to my local GameStop earlier, like last week, and they started selling like computer equipment at my GameStop. And I was
Really?
like, oh man, that's really cool. Yeah.
Oh,
They
dang.
start selling like it's mainly like Razer and Corsair stuff, but it's like they have like this the cameras and the keyboards and mice, and I think they have a couple of like graphic cards or something. But
Wow, that's actually
Those are
pretty
really
cool.
yeah, I was super excited, and I was like, oh man, I didn't know you guys did that. So it was just kind of cool to watch or to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's fascinating because I'm sure you've probably heard the story, Gravity, but I'm on a borrowed PC right now. I don't have a PC of my own, and I've got to start looking for some new computer parts because I want to build my own rig sometime in the near future. So knowing that GameStop has that stuff, I'll have to go pop over and see what they can do for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they also have where you can order online and try to get some stuff through there. So
Sweet, I can compare prices and do my diligence as a consumer, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, guys, so yeah, let's cap that off. Thanks to GameStop, Sector 6, and 24 Hour Fitness for all their support of these matches. You guys tune in week after week to see these incredible games, and there's more to come after this. But before we move on to what's coming up next, holy crap, we've got a finals to play, Gravity.
Yeah, I am ready. The finals. It's a long time waiting. It's going to be nonstop action, and I am ready to see who's going to take the victory here.
Fan-freaking-tastic. Well, let's jump right in here from Black Knight Gaming, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, the titanium-colored Terran map. It is the Terran player, Percival.
And in the top left, in the purple, playing for Alpha X, it's the Protoss. It is the one, the only Asuna. Rocking their Carbots animated little thing there.
The animated zealot from Carbots. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I will never forget when they came out with the Carbots skin. I watched some streamers playing it, and most of the stream was just spent like watching how much love Blizzard had put into this, and the Carbot animator guy had put into this. Like, for example, when you're doing an upgrade at one of your buildings, sometimes the entire music will just change. So like there's an animation for it doing an upgrade, but then when your camera hovers over it, you'll also hear like because it's like doing an upgrade. It's like this salsa dance thing. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And it's kind of cool because I've been watching the series. I'm almost done, almost to the final final season, and it's just really cool that they put so much love into the series itself, and then also, obviously into the design to put into the games. But just the like callbacks and the references and Easter eggs of like previous matches or things that like like Day 9 has said in some of his older like Day 9 like StarCraft series and stuff like that. And it's really cool to see such an amazing project, and able to put so much love towards it. So it's
Oh,
just been
sure.
really cool to see that.
So you're at the end of that series as well. Do you think Kerrigan's going to sit on the Iron Throne?
Uh, I don't know. I think her little Zergling buddy or her Ultralisk might try to melt it and try to like form it into like a layer or something like that. Just like transform, upgrade it. It's like the Spire, it just
That's right.
upgrades itself.
From Iron Throne to like Golden Throne. That's the upgrade.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Dragon Ball Z. It's Frieza's final form.
Mm,
He just changes colors. It's
of
like
course, very
okay.
smart. Yeah, yeah. That's this is we're getting like 3 or 4 levels of Inception deep in nerdery here. This is fantastic.
How deep can we go?
I'm really glad we're on Afrika because I know a lot of the Afrika viewers are Koreans, so their English might not be good enough to know just what a giant nerd I'm being right now.
Yeah,
Saved by my
that's
audience. All
I
right.
really like this as we kind of get honed in on this game. Just the scouting and not necessarily damage from Percival, but keeping that alive, that Reaper alive for so long, is just really interesting. He does have 3 adepts for Asuna that it's going to be coming across, and by this time we're already going to have a pretty good setup coming out here from Percival.
Yeah, he's got the bunker down. He's got a couple more Marines here. It's going to be very difficult for these Adepts to find a lot of play. Now, they can do some really impressive shading work here, and with this Oracle to draw the army out and around, the Adepts actually might be able to get some really good work done. Ooh, he's going to finish that shade. That's very surprising. I did not think he was going to commit to this attack. The Oracle's going to get shot down. Oh, man, the Oracle's barely going to get away. The Adepts are going to get destroyed, though, as well, and a good hold there by Percival. All 3 Adepts going down. The Oracle losing all of its shield and most of its hull. That is not what he was hoping would happen.
Yeah, definitely not. Like you said, very surprised he was going to finish the shade. I thought, seeing how much army was there, was just going to go ahead and cancel out. But maybe thought that with the Oracle would be able to take care of it. But thankfully, the Cyclone able to come out just in time, and we will see him continue on with that. So behind this, he is going to go into more of a Phoenix style play, or at least have a couple. And I like this. It shuts down any kind of draw play, which does look like Percival might try to do, even though he is going to be going into a third base. We do see that come, and that's going to make it hard for any of this to happen. But with the Viking and with the Cyclones actually looking to be pretty good in classic Percival fashion, we're going to see this really nice push come out here from him.
Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly, mass aggression. Got really lucky catching the, good force field. They're going to block off some of these SCVs from repairing. There we go. The SCV's forced to get in there, but it's not going to be in time. Both of those Cyclones are going to go down. So the initial advantage that Percival had found by picking off most of those air units is actually going to go. Oh man, Percival losing his medevac as well. Now back in the safety of its shield battery. Azuna looking to hold against this attack. Much better than might have otherwise been expected.
Yeah, this is looking really good. And, Percival is getting a little bit of damage. The Phoenix is the rest of the Marines there, but still not terrible. We will see him finally kind of moving around, getting some more barracks, and just starting to tech up into his own stuff. Let's get 3 kills. I didn't see where that came from, but oh yeah, never mind. I was down at the bottom. Got 3 SCV kills there, so overall not terrible. And we should start seeing Percival kind of tech up and see where he wants to go from here.
Yeah, it was a cute, cheeky little move there. Percival had brought those SCVs along with the hopes of repairing up the Cyclones either in between attacks or during the attacks. But of course, a nice force field there did zone them out just badly enough that he wasn't able to get anything done. Both Cyclones went down immediately. The SCVs soon followed. It's a bit of luck, I think, sometimes with how their army is positioned and the exact timing of the force field. But at the same time, very well done by Asuna to see that coming and separate out those units that are so dependent on each other. Behind this, we've just seen the Robo Bay finish up. We do have Twilight Council on the way behind this. We're going to see another Colossus popping out, and there it is, another Colossus popping out for Asuna.
Yeah, this is really nice. It's interesting of how many Phoenixes that Asuna is deciding to go into. We don't usually see a lot of Phoenix play in PvT. It's usually a lot of just kind of like Oracle and maybe go into something else besides that. But I like it. It's gonna be able to get some damage done, or at least some harassment into the natural here with those with the Phoenixes, and that's just so annoying to have to deal with.
You know, usually I would say I disagree with you. I think when I see that much bio out, I never think Phoenix are safe. You know, one flight on autopath that isn't quite set up quite right, and they just get destroyed. But in this case, you're absolutely correct. Look at how much damage Asuna is getting done to those 4 Phoenix. They haven't even been touched. He's keeping the army of Percival back home. He's destroyed 6 SCVs to bring himself 10 workers in the lead, and he is still pumping out Colossus, extended thermal lance, some research behind that, dropping the double forge. Asuna apparently feeling very, very confident about where he is right now in this game.
Yeah, definitely. And this is one of the things I like. We've seen Percival have this weird aggression style. Asuna has taken this aggression style and has said, okay, I'll let you do this aggression, but you're going to pay for it. If you want to try to move out, you're going to lose SCVs, you're going to lose all this. And this has forced Percival to play a defensive game here. And what does this allow Asuna to do? It allows him to tech up, it allows him to get these Colossus, it allows him to get all of these upgrades and build up the force that he wants. We even see him taking a 4th base at this point, and it just allowing him to build up to the forces that he wants. We do see a move out finally from Percival, but with the extended thermal lance done, with everything else here, I don't know. It's going to be super careful. There's quite a few tanks though, so.
Yeah, well, this is where it's really interesting for Asuna because he obviously doesn't have quite as many gateway units as he'd like. He'd sacrifice some extra minerals and especially a lot of gas for this flock of 7 Phoenix, which are have been very useful in the past, but not going to be super valuable up against this Bioforce unless they can pick up tanks, which is going to be very difficult given the positioning of those tanks. Percival plopping those tanks in a really nice spot. And unfortunately, what that does mean is that these Colossi are not going to have the protection and the safety behind a lot of gateway units. He's getting a couple more Zealots in there now, but it's still not quite the right balance. And Percival may be able to exploit that with some tanks in the background here. But a double drop coming around as well. Percival staying active, pulling the Protoss army back and forth, doing a really good job of choosing his engagements well. Oh man, Protoss is about to get destroyed here at the 7 o'clock position.
Yeah, it's just not looking good at all. We do have that nice drop. Like you said, kind of in the 7 o'clock position, taking out that 4th base. Looks like there was another base wanting to be taken, but beautiful pickup on the tanks. Going to be able to clear up a lot of the army. The charge lots going to get on top of the tanks, and this army that was looking really good for Percival going to fall down. The medevacs trying to pick up, but those Phoenix, again, coming into play, able to shut down the medevac drops. And this is just not looking good. Percival is all over the place, but these Phoenix are as well, and they are just doing a fantastic job here.
Man, again, 2 sides of the same coin. These guys staying very, very active. He may have lost a lot of units in that major battle, but he did pick off that 4th base for Asuna, so Azuna's still only on 3 bases, cleaning up some of the scrappy remnants of the Terran army here. And the Terran army does have quite a bit back home, including a lot of bulky Marauders that are going to live for longer under those Colossi beams. But losing the 4th base, losing some probes, he's now down 10 probes from where he was earlier. In fact, if we take a look at that income graph, we'll see that Percival is now significantly in the lead and has been ever since he closed off that 4th base of Asuna. Asuna now rebuilding the 4th base, but at a much more exposed, much more hard to defend location.
Definitely. He's finally warping in a few Archons to help deal with this. Maybe get a little bit of splash damage, but yeah, those Marauders going to be very tough to handle. Extended thermal lance will come out. Going to even pull some of the SCVs behind us. The Phoenix trying to help take out some of the medevacs, but we'll have to back up once again to not overextend here. And I mean, Percival holding on. He's holding and he's defending this very well. And really forcing Asuna to rethink where he wants to attack. He does get 12 kills, which is really nice, but when you're still sitting at 69, 70 workers, it's not a big deal if you lose a couple there.
Yeah, 5 Colossi out on the map now. The Planetary Fortress about to finish this 3 o'clock position. We can see the Phoenix getting less and less useful as this game goes on. Picking up Marauders doesn't feel quite as good as picking up tanks might. And we can see the Phoenix awkwardly moving forward into this to try and take out some medevacs and a Viking as well. Colossi raining down shots, but the Marauders pressing forward. I don't know, Percival might have enough to break this. This game is so evenly matched. It looks like Asuna going to end up on top here, able to wedge himself in between the natural and the 4th base now of Percival, and the Planetary Fortress may be under assault.
Yeah, I mean, as you look into this, how to attack into this. Obviously, the Colossus is going to outrange that, and he has a very big hold. Now he does have a couple of tanks here. Percival does, but it has to sit out of range. He can't really engage this army at this point. He's going to stem forward and try to get an ice around. Even gets an EMP off, which is going to help with this army, but not going to be enough. And Asuna is going to take the game 1.
Yeah, I think too little, too late on those ghost shots. Sure, the ghost number wasn't quite where it needed to be to rain down those EMPs on the army. The Colossi just proving to be too much at the end there for Percival to deal with. So Asuna is going to take game number 1 in convincing fashion.
Yeah, definitely, very much so.
But hey, it wasn't a walkover by any stretch of the imagination. Both of these players putting on a hell of a show.
Yes, and it's very, like you said, very close and even match. Both players are showing that they can play that aggressive style and just go back and forth. So it's just all around very good. I'm excited to see more of this. And we get the best of 7. So
Yeah, that's crazy. So first player to 4 is going to win and take our $50 prize home. $30 to the secondary player. All right, the second place player, not the secondary player. Of course, they're not secondary. They're first in our hearts, I'm sure. Anyway, we've got the game 2 coming up here. Asuna versus Percival, going to be on the map. Nightshade. What do you think about this map, Gravity?
I like this map. It's very interesting. It presents itself some interesting opportunities. For one, if you're a Protoss, Blink can be good to get into the main, but if you're a Terran, it presents an opportunity to do some good drops, to really kind of force your opponent in some weird situations. The third base is a little exposed and kind of out in the weird section, but if you can keep a hold on it, if you can lock everything down and destroy your opponent, you're going to find victory here.
Definitely. Well, let's take a look at the 2 players who are both searching for victory in the top left-hand corner of Nightshade LE. In the blue, from Black Knight Gaming, it is Percival. Sorry, I had to sneeze at the end there. It's Percival.
Percival sneeze. In the bottom right, in the purple, it's the Protoss player known as Asuna from Alpha X.
It's really nice to see players from different teams in the finals here. We had, I think, 3 of our players tonight from Alpha X, and Percival, the only player here from Black Knight. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gravity, but I think that's true.
Yes, that's correct.
Beautiful. Well, it's so nice to see Black Knight not only volunteering their players for our little show match, but stepping up to the challenge, and Percival really showing us that he's got what it takes to be a fantastic player. Black Knight, of course, a wonderful squad, a great little team. They've got a couple big name players in the past, but they've had a pretty decent practice squad or secondary squad for a long time now. At least a year, I think, since they were founded.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been producing some really good players. Obviously, there's been some of the top like GMs and stuff that have played for them, and it's nice. Like you said, a lot of the players in this kind of little tournament, if you will, has been Alpha X members. That presents itself a kind of a weird situation because obviously your teammates, you know each other's styles, so you're going to see some wonky stuff. And some of these players, they know exactly what they need to do. But in a case like this, 2 different teams, you may not know exactly what your opponent is wanting to do. So it makes itself a little bit interesting, makes it a little bit more cautious for you, and presents itself a little bit more pride on the line as well. You want to win for your team, but you also want to win it the show match altogether. So just so much stuff riding on the line.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I know we've said this 3 or 4 times now, but with a player as mysterious as Percival, who none of us are super familiar with, it's going to be so much harder to read what he's up against. Now, let's take a look at Percival's, I almost called him a stalker here, a reaper here. Going to get in, he's going to try and get a full scout. Will he see this Twilight Council hidden in the back? Looks like he absolutely will. What a scout. What a great read there from Percival.
Yeah, that's a really good scout. It shows that, Asuna is wanting to tech up, potentially going into Blink, or, maybe even charge. And that gives him the idea, okay, he's going to tech up. There's not going to be this big push just yet. I have a little bit of time, but we should see, yes, there it is, the bunker coming down, realizing that there is the potential for that pressure. And we do see, in fact, The Adept making its way across the map. It will get there before the bunker is able to finish, but maybe he can stop this.
Oh, I think he will. The Marine not responding in time. That bunker not going to finish up. That's actually really nice for Asuna, forcing another SCV to be pulled.
Yeah.
And going to shade up into the main, causing more trouble, almost picking off a mule and shading back out. This Adept is causing all sorts of trouble. Going to jimmy his way back out, down to the natural. Oh, no, he gets picked off in the main. Oh, no, he's still there. He just canceled his shade. Whoa.
Yeah.
So giving his life for one more probe kill, or one more SCV kill, I don't know if that was worth it. He could have gotten away with it. I'm not that brave. I'd certainly shade the hell out of there if I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, no kidding.
Cool.
But still getting some good damage done, and we also have a few stalkers. Blink is on the way now for Asuna behind this, so we will see him go into more of that kind of aggressive style here very soon. Reaper will be able to come back in. Doesn't get really any kills. Yeah, he doesn't get any kills and will eventually die. Getting a couple more gateways and a robotics facility, so really looking to start, just pumping out all kinds of units, and I think that's exactly what he's going to need.
Now this is really interesting. I need you to take a look in the main base of Percival here. The upgrade that he's gone for his bio is combat shields first, not stim first. Normally I wouldn't think much of this, but check it out. Blink Stalkers, Observer on the way. If you blink up into the main base and cancel that stim, that could be incredibly huge. So I would be a little concerned right now if I was Percival that stim wasn't my first upgrade. But Percival, he's not concerned about anything. He's bringing SCVs along on his push, 8 of them to be exact, and he is chugging down the main highway of Nightshade LE, engaging with these stalkers already. And this is going to be a little bit of a fight, pushing them back and not allowing them to do what they wanted to do, which is sneak into his main base.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is these Marines are going to be and will be a little bit more beefy. The tanks are going to siege up onto the high ground here, and more stalkers are going to get morphed in here. The SCV is going to be used as a meat shield, but I just think there's too many stalkers here. And across the map, we are going to see the Observer seeing, kind of what's going on, but at this moment, he's just having to defend against this. Blink is now done. Wow. He's going to get on top of this, and if you're Percival, what do you do behind this? He's got stim, but that's still, 30, 40 seconds away.
Yeah, now he does have one tank that's about to get picked off as well. I think the Stalker's trying to focus fire on that tank, not going to get it though. So with one tank, this attack still has a little bit of teeth. Now, ideally, if there were 3 tanks here, this would be the end of it. But I think with one tank, that means that Percival has a lot more staying power in this attack. Going to be able to set up, again, that tank in a really nice position, fire onto the pylons, fire onto the Nexus, and these bio units, the Marines, are going to be able to take down the rest of these probes. This is looking better and better for Percival as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no answer here for Asuna. He is going to continue to push forward here. Blinking forward, if he can get the tank, that's going to be really nice, but shutting everything down, there's only these stalkers remaining for Asuna, and I don't know, what do you do behind this? Still more units streaming across the map. Have another tank coming in, and if he can get that sieged up, if he can somehow shut down these additional stalkers, that's going to be good. 10 seconds away from finishing stim pack, and then we're going to have some hyperactive Marines for sure.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's going to have to stim any of these Marines. He does have one tank that's been that's reinforced now. More Marines streaming across the map, one at a time here. But, I mean, this is one of those games where the production tab really tells the whole story. Even though you get that creative blink right on top of the tank, you're going to lose 3 or 4 stalkers for it. And even if you clean all this up, I mean, look at the supply right now. 30 workers to 50, 10 army to 20. Even though this has finally been cleaned up, I think Percival's in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's got his third base on the way behind this. Actually almost finished up at home. He's still getting more Marines. He's getting Marauders. He's getting all these essential upgrades. Asuna does see this and kind of realizes like what is there. And he's able to see, okay, there's still tanks. There's still all these units. Now even medevacs. Not going to be good. Sees the potential for a drop as well, and I think that would be the perfect time to strike if he does end up striking on this. But right now, just trying to find where exactly he wants to go.
Nice. Percival picking off that Observer, so now he can move out without fear of being tracked. Percival's even got his third up and running, even, wow, feeling confident enough to morph his third into a command center, not a planetary fortress. knowing that he has got the upper hand, and as long as he continues to out-macro his opponent, he's going to be just fine. But look at this. A couple of Stalkers going to sneak their way into the third base here. The Army for Percival walking across the map right now. This could be the secret sauce that Asuna needs to turn this game around into his favor, stopping the production of 2 of those supply depots. Meanwhile, Percival not turning around. Are we going to see a bit of a base trade here?
It's definitely possible. He's going to go for that third base and says, you know what, you want to take mine? I'm going to take yours. There's still a tank. There's some Marines kind of enforcing on top of this. Still the SCV is trying to help out as well. And it looks like not going to recall at all. We'll lose those additional Stalkers. And Percival getting that third base. He's going to continue to press onto this. And Asuna definitely in trouble. Going to go straight to the main base here is Percival. And
Wow.
what can you do? There's not enough to really deal with this. There are some Stalkers to help out, but with the tank in the back, I don't know.
That tank just splash damage killed 7 probes in a row, and if that isn't indicative of how the entire last 5 minutes of this game went, I don't know what is. GG goes down, and Percival draws it even 1-1.
Man, just what a fantastic series so far. All the players, just playing their heart out, just non-stop aggression games. It's been really awesome to see.
It is getting less and less likely that I'm going to take the bus home, and getting more and more likely that I'm just going to order an Uber because I'm so lazy. It's so late. Ugh, achieving Christmas. So Asuna gets to choose our map after falling down to the might of the Terran player Percival. We got a 1-1 series. This just turned into a best of 5.
Yeah. God, I hope it goes like this for the rest of them, just back and forth. It's just been some really interesting games, and as it continues on, we start seeing some of the maps that don't get played very often, and we're going to see some wacky strategies for sure. I do kind of wonder, does Asuna go into Blink, for our next map, or does he want to go still in the like Stargate kind of style play?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting play, because Asuna has done Stargate so many times now, but actually didn't that last game, did he?
Nah, he opened up Twilight Council.
Twilight Council into Blink,
ended up getting scouted or whatever, but I think that really kind of played into Percival's a big attack there.
Yeah, this will be really fascinating to see what they go for here. Best of 7, tied up 1-1 in the winners match of the Alpha Pro Series 137. Gravity, tell us who's playing for all this money.
Hey, well, the first contender we have up in the top left, he's a Terran player. He loves long walks on the beach. Give it up. It's from Black Knight Gaming's Percival.
And his opponent, in the bottom right-hand corner, whose favorite animal is unicorns and whose favorite color is neon clear, from Alpha X, it's Asuna. They were meant for each other.
Yeah.
Asuna it's adorable.
Oh no, that doesn't work out. Never mind. I was going to make a play on Asuna's name, but as soon as I tried to get it out, it didn't work. So.
Hey! You truly have reached the peak of dad jokedom. It doesn't get any better than that.
I know. It doesn't get any better, and it gets a lot worse.
Excellent. Well, now that we have 2 viewers remaining, let's finish casting this series. Asuna's probe is going to get in here and harass this SCV a little bit, forcing a response from Percival, but he's not going to find any play there. We'll just get chased away into the main. Behind this, Azuna's Cyber Core on the high ground, going to stop that Reaper from jumping in. And looks like Asuna going to drop the Nexus. Standard one.
Pretty standard opening so far for Asuna. It just kind of comes down now. Does he want to go into the Stargate tech? Does he rather, play the Twilight Council tech as well? Aerospace-wise, I think it might be quicker than just like ground units, but with it being so big and being able to warp in units, it's really any kind of call from here as far as what Asuna wants to do. So we'll see what he does choose to play with. Looks like there might be a proxy Stargate coming out here though, so could be really good.
Super cute little proxy Stargate in here at the 3rd location. I'd be surprised if that were the case. It gets scouted pretty quick. Well, he's got 2 gases taken already, but there's only 2 workers in 1 gas, so he's got a very, very specific build order in mind here. We'll have to wait and see exactly what he goes for. I love it when players are, have this build timed down to a T.
Oh yeah, it's just insane. These players, they play so much. They have learned, okay, this is exactly when I need to move this unit out here to be able to lay it down right at this second with this many minerals, and it's really awesome to watch.
Proxy gate. So what that means is that Asuna's got to be very, very cautious with every ground unit he builds. He can't afford to lose any ground units, because when you go for a proxy gate, generally what you want to do is build up this gateway army that's large enough over time that it just overwhelms your opponent. So you can take a little bit of shield damage, but don't lose any units, because then you don't get that critical mass that you need to cause damage in the very early game. But a lot of Marines coming out here. Percival skipping a lot of the things that he needs to get out 5 Marines, only losing 1, and trading for that Adept. A pretty good trade for Percival so far. Every Adept he shades off will make his life so much easier as the Blink Stalkers or Glaive Adepts come out later.
Yeah, it's really nice for him, and it's actually just going to be a proxy gateway for Asuna that will be used to eventually kind of warp in across the map. Like I said, with it being one of the larger maps in the pool, if you can have that reinforcement potential, it's going to fare well for you. And we actually see Percival going across with the Marines. He's not going to have anything at home as Asuna does decide to move in here. So, I don't know. He does have... oh, he's even going to have the medevac. Oh no, can he get the medevac? Okay, never mind.
Medevac's going to be safe, but his mineral line is not. There are going to be a lot of dead SCVs here, but oh my god, Percival still committing to this, not turning back with any of his forces. Looks like he wants to elevate her up into the natural, and both these players have their eyes are red here, looking for blood.
Yeah, both of them, they want to get the damage done. Percival going to try to force the recall from Asuna, but will Asuna stay committed to this? He's going to get straight into the main. While Percival does the same thing, the Cyclone's trying to lock on as many of the Stalkers, as many as the probes as possible, and it looks like both players just trying to macro their hearts out against both of this. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much here for Percival. There is a shield battery, however, for Asuna, so in the main base might be able to get something done, but there's just not a lot here for either side. We'll eventually force the recall, as there is a Liberator out now for Percival, but to be able to kind of take care of this.
Yeah, wow, an attack. Both sides battered, bloody, and bruised. Both sides retreating to their respective corners of the map to lick their wounds and come back for more in 3 or 4 minutes. Man, Gravity, we saw really, really good attacks on both sides there. We saw some impressive Stalker play. We saw some fearless marching up into the main base here. Some really great drop micro with the Medevac and the Cyclone. Who came out on top?
Overall, I think it ends up pretty even. Maybe given a little to Percival, he was able to get out. He was able to deal a lot of damage. We do see Percival still putting on pressure with the Liberator, and I think that's going to add on to these next attacks, because the Stalker is just going to get right on top of it. They don't have Blink, and yeah, I mean, he's going to be able to get a couple of units for free. Still gets out with the Liberator, and I just think overall, it's looking good for Percival here so far.
Yeah, even defending back home against those Stalkers that were trying to make their way into his natural mineral line yet again. So we see the first real tech choices coming out from both of our players here. We see Blink for Asuna, and Stim coming out for Percival here. So we see a Bio versus Blink Stalker Immortal. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Terran and the Protoss, am I right?
Yes, very much so.
If you haven't seen that movie 400 times yet, get ready, because you're about to see that movie 400 times. Or, no, I guess today's kids just watch Frozen, don't they?
Yeah, well, I don't know. That's kind of my daughter. She likes the Frozen and stuff like that. But yeah, it's you see it too much, and then it just gets kind of ingrained in your heads, and it's never a good sight.
Yikes! I gotta make it a confession, and I know that the Disney cops are gonna come find me. I have still never seen Frozen. I have never heard the entire soundtrack. I have no idea what the plot is, and it has been like half-assedly explained to me several times before I just go, I don't care. I don't want to know. I'm happy not knowing.
Yeah. You don't want to know, because then you get like addicted, and
oh, good.
then you just get it stuck in your head all the time. and then it just seems like you can never let it go, and it sucks.
I get my fill of Kristen Bell in the good place, so that's about all I need there. Tank set up here to defend really well for Percival at the natural, but at the same time, Asuna is blocking him out of a third here, and I think that may be his long-term strategy. Not necessarily to do any real damage or cause any economic distress, but simply to prevent him from taking a third. He hasn't even built a third command center yet. He's not in any position to expand. He's so busy defending this main and this natural against these Blink Stalkers that he's unable to put anything out. And we see Asuna responding by dropping a third of his own and beginning that upgrade for Zealot Charge to get a gateway army that really is holistically dangerous, I would say. And oh my god, look at this freaking juke. Just as the army moves out, he gets in to pick off combat shields.
Oh no. And the Medevac's going to be unaware, actually gets him out just in time. Stim will come out. We'll be able to blink out just fine, like you said. You know, he's just playing this so well. Was waiting for that opportunity, going to pounce on it, and here we go. Once again, Percival going to try to come back up, but Asuna just going to blink straight back into the main.
Mamma mia, here we go again. SCV's pulled up into the main, but this time he's got a little bit better of a sandwich.
Units. Oh.
Ooh, he's getting on top of the tank here. Nice. A good pick off on the tank, which is going to take a lot of bite out of Percival's defense here. There's no tank left. The bunker is empty. The Blink Stalkers have been cut down. Only 3 SCVs have gone down, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of value taking out, you know, that, but economic-wise, definitely not good for him. And, man, I mean, he will end up losing also the gateway and the pylon there. Overall, I don't think ended up being worth it. It looked like it was going to be really good for him there, but just not the results he was hoping for. He gets 5 SCV kills and, you know, a couple of like tank shots, resets the tank count at least and stuff like that. But overall, I don't think it was worth it.
Yeah, probably a wash maybe at best. If you, because I'm from Kansas. I'm an optimist, you know. There's a whole song about us people from Kansas being cockeyed optimists. And I would say that the positive view of that is that he got his third down. He got production started on his Colossi. He's got extended thermal lance going, and he's got a pretty good economy behind this. The bad news is he's got 20 army supply against a lot of angry +1 Marines with stim. No combat shield, but with stim. And 3 medevacs to boot. This is looking real scary.
Yes, definitely. And this big push out, like you said, you know, it's just, I mean, I think it could get a lot of damage done. We've seen this kind of in a previous series. Just as long as he doesn't lose everything to some disruptor shots or anything like that, which we don't have disruptors, so thank God for that. But
yeah, Percival stalling, waiting for just a minute here. As, oh my god, here it is. Trademark Percival. Look what's coming across the map, Gravity.
Yes, the pain train is coming down.
Chugga, baby.
They're bringing their hats, they're bringing their fedoras, everything that they need. And they will be starting the pain train.
Why does an SCV need his fedora? What?
I don't know.
Huge EMP going down, though, on all of Asuna's army here. Second EMP blanketing the forces. SCVs meeting probes. It's chaos. Cats and dogs living together. Black is white. Up is down. And I think Percival's just going to walk right up this ramp. A nice force field going to siphon his army through just a little bit, but not quite enough to block him off. The one Colossi still alive. Second Colossi desperately getting chronoed out. But the Bioforce is still looking pretty good here. Getting on top of the Colossi. The Colossi going down. Is there any hope?
I think there's still a little bit of hope. I mean, he's lost only 2 probes altogether for this. He loses the entire army, which is... But with the addition here of Percival's kind of reinforcements, it's a lot of trouble. Across the map, though, there's no damage done. Everything is just across the map here for Percival. And the Colossus a little exposed here, going to get right on top of it. The Stalker is not able to get too much done. The Ghost just sniping away onto the units, and it looks like Percival might be able to get the lead here.
Yeah, one Ghost going down in dramatic fashion. Ghosts are such drama queens when they die. The loudest death sound of any video game in the history of video games. But this is well done here by Percival, leaving a couple units to harass the natural, dropping back down in the third, and again, you're right, bringing these reinforcements straight across the map. Not letting his opponent breathe for just a minute, making sure to stamp the ever-living life out of Asuna. Percival drawing the noose around his neck here. Retreats to the middle of the map, probably to heal up just a little bit, and then I think going to go in for the finishing blow.
Definitely, and it's kind of in this weird situation. Even after all of that, Asuna ends up more workers than Percival. Then, but will that even matter? At 43 army supply to 8, this is not a lot here for Asuna, and we see Percival just moving straight into the natural, and it's just not looking good.
Can recall those probes over to his third, where he's defended by 2 stalkers and a zealot, but it doesn't matter. There's the G and the second G. Percival is going to take game number 2. Black Knight represent. Dang, that was a great game.
Yeah, it's just an excellent game all around, and it was, kind of very back and forth. I just think it kind of comes down to that initial attack with the stalkers, man. He wasn't able to get the damage done, and it just kind of downward spiraled from there. These counterattacks that Percival is able to do has just been phenomenal, and has really kind of given him the lead.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. And so now we're waiting on Asuna for the map choice here. Asuna now down 1 game to 2. So he's got to try and fight back. I hate it. There's a huge difference, let me tell you, when you're going into game number 5. Game number 5.
Game 4.
We're going into game 4 now, but after this game.
Oh, okay.
When you're going into game number 5, there is a massive difference between 2 and 2 and 1 and 3, right? Not just like the numbers because you're closer to winning, but psychologically, man, it's a big difference to climb up that hill and win 3 in a row rather than bring it even. So I think, I think it's really important here for Asuna to take this victory, or man, winning 3 in a row is a tall order, especially against a player as accomplished as Percival, who is really showing us he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, he's really been putting the hammer down, and I just think we've seen Asuna kind of do these different styles, but what can he do to overcome this power that Percival is starting to push forward through, and especially on the next map that we have coming in.
Absolutely. Well, let's introduce our players, and then we'll talk about how a Protoss can really strike back against a Terran that's doing an all-out aggressive attack with bio. So, the Protoss that needs to make something happen here in our best of 7, lest he go down 3 games to 1. In the purple, from Alpha X, it is Asuna.
And in the bottom right, in the blue, it's the Terran player from Black Knight Esports. It is Percival.
All right, so you're a Terran player. You're a Protoss player.
I'm a random player.
I play pretend.
I play mainly Terran. Yeah. I'm Protoss. I'm Protoss.
Yeah, imagine you're a Protoss player. You've just lost 2 games to pretty aggressive bio styles. Bio tank pushes in the first 7 minutes of a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're into game number 3, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'd really love to win $50 right now. What can I do to win that extra $20 so I don't have to get the embarrassment of getting second place? How do I fight back against a Terran who goes all out bio aggression? What's my play?
I think aggression is my play. I think going into maybe some kind of cheeky, I say like a cannon rush, but maybe, essentially kind of how he did it on a throw down a gateway close to the expansion of the Terran, and then just continue to hammer out units and try to hold Percival to his own base and not allow him to move out, but have to do something to stop that transition of I'm just gonna all in with 50 workers, a bunch of units, and then just throw everything at you.
Sure. Well, let's see if he does decide to fight fire with fire here and go for this aggressive play. I wouldn't be surprised. Asuna has shown us that he's pretty talented. Can play a number of different styles. We've seen him go Stargate. We've seen him go Twilight Council. We'll see what he goes for this game. It's possible, you know, the cynic in me would say it's likely that Asuna will retreat into his shell and go back to just doing what he knows best, which is probably Stargate, right? We've seen him play that way, I think, for a majority of matches. But if we look at the production tab, we'll see that that's absolutely not going to be the case. He's going Twilight Council again, unscouted.
Yeah, I really like this, and you know, maybe if I'm a Protoss, you know, I'm down 2-1, I'm like, you know what, I need to throw something out. Let me go ahead. Let's just throw down a DT shrine. Let's throw, you know, throw a proxy out somewhere. Maybe you can just throw it in the base. Let's kind of stir things up and again force these kind of different reactions from Percival. Make sure that he's not just playing his game. That I'm forcing him off of the balance beam, so to speak.
Sure, a 1-1-1 here out of Percival. Looks like he is going to land that starport onto the tech lab, meaning the Cloaked Banshees are a very real possibility in our future. And look at that, Banshees and Cloak coming down. Is this the first time we've seen Percival go Cloaked Banshees? No. He's done it before against Starkiller.
Yeah, he's done it before.
Or Pacomike, rather, not Starkiller, sorry.
Yeah, he did against Pacomike. Seemed to work out pretty well, especially since Pacomike went into kind of more of a weird style. But we'll see if that ends up coming out for. As I say that, the Hellion's going to come in here, just going to be able to start roasting up some probes. So far, 7 probes have gone down, a little bit more to come down, and this is just a beautiful play from Percival. And it hurts Asuna a lot here.
Carnage, 10 probes, 3 Hellions still alive, hanging on made of duct tape and one like rusty bolt from a hardware store. With 3 health left, these Hellions are gonna get out of here. You're kidding me. There we go. Finally gonna get cleaned up, but 10 probe kills. Oh man, I don't know, Gravity. Do you think it was worth it?
I do, and especially since he got the scout off and seen exactly what Asuna is doing. The thing also is he's not done. He's sitting across that Banshee now. There is an observer coming out, which will be able to kind of help this out. But just so much damage already. The shield battery is about out of energy. I see him just getting more and more damage done, and finally the Stalkers will be able to kind of push this away. But he's going to get at least another like 4 kills here, if not more.
If he sacrifices the Banshee, possibly more.
The observer is still going across the map. Looks like finally he just gets the second one out.
Yeah, second one out here in the main observer going across the map now. So the Banshee's going to be put out to dry for now. We'll scout the third base though for Asuna, Percival. So Percival now knows what he's up against. Back home, doing what Percival does best, building some more barracks, moving his factory over to get some more Hellions in place, getting a third base in place. I think he's pretty comfortable with where he is this game so far. 45 SCVs to just 36 probes.
Yeah, I mean, so far just a phenomenal play coming out from Percival. He does have the second Banshee, which is nice. Will provide a little bit more defense, and we actually seen this against Pacomike. He decided to get a couple of those Banshees. He's got the tanks, he gets the Marines, and then it goes just across. So he is preparing for a big attack. And you know what? I don't know if Asuna can hold this off. He's only got a few Stalkers, and Blink done is going to be nice, but against this much units, it's going to be scary.
I mean, yeah, let's not put Asuna out to dry here. He's got some fantastic micro Stalkers. We can see there's a bit of a blunder there already from Percival. Going to lose both these Banshees for the cost of just 2 more probe kills. That's not how we wanted that to end, and those Stalkers have got to be really proud of themselves. That actually takes a lot of the bite out of Percival's army. Don't forget, I think people see Cloaked Banshee a lot, and they think, oh, you know, what a cute play. That's just for some harassment and being cheeky. But really, Banshees do a lot of damage, man. And you get enough of them together, they can really add a lot of DPS, a lot of firepower to any army, whether they're cloaked or just like hanging out. So picking off those 2 Banshees is going to actually be, I think, a little bit more valuable than it might seem otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. I like this play from Asuna. He was going to try to come and be aggressive, sees that this army's moving out, and will eventually back up here. Sees the third base placement and the timing there, and knows exactly where everything is at. And still above all of this, we'll go ahead and start pushing in onto this. But with the tank in position, I don't know if this is a good idea.
Clearing out a couple SCVs here. Nice target firing by Asuna. Only 2, but he is going to get away with it. All of his Stalkers intact. And that's pretty key. If you're going to do a hit and run, you've got to make sure to do the hit you've also got to remember that you have to do the run afterwards. And he does both of those things admirably in that little attack, even snaking back around to see. But now, Percival's got a couple of Billies out front to make sure that that doesn't happen again. The tank number's getting a little higher. Nice tank micro there from Percival, picking up the tank into the medevac. Going to protect it from getting destroyed by those stalkers.
Yeah, definitely. And we also see, Stem finishing up for Percival behind this, getting some Liberators and preparing for a nice attack. And, Asuna trying to find some new pathways to take, does see that there's the army moving across the map. We'll go ahead and start getting in position here. And trying to get some stuff ready here for a big attack.
The patented Percival army. 50 army supply or 100 army supply and 50 SCV supply coming across the map for you. The SCVs, though, hidden behind these units, they're not able to soak up any of these Banshee shots. They are going to do a really good job of protecting against the charge zealots coming up from behind. The SCVs melting away, but 92 army supply to just 20. I don't think it matters, man.
No. The SCV is able to get their Maturino codes put in and able to increase the prize pool. Says, you know what, I want to get this. And just looking fantastic. Still has quite a few of those mines active as well. The tank's not even going to be sieged up. And GG as Percival goes up 3-1 now.
Man, Percival, the player who at the beginning of the night we had said, I don't know, never heard of him before. We'll have to figure out what he is. And currently 1 game away from taking first place in this fantastic series. Earlier, Gravity, you mentioned that those SCVs had cashed in their Maturino codes. Could you tell me what you were talking about?
Yeah, well, if you look at the top of the chat there's a Maturino tournament page. You just go there, you type in the code APS137 in the coupon code section. You just get clicked in. If you don't have an account, it's okay. It takes like 10 seconds at the most to get signed in and get yourself to helping esports raise some more money. You can use the sponsor codes or the sponsor quests, whether it be the tweets, liking and all of that to help add to the prize pool. Down at the bottom of the Maturino page, there are some marketplace items. If you like, I really like Alpha X and I want to support that. You can buy yourself some hats, some hoodies, get yourself some coaching, all of that great stuff. Oh, they don't have the coaching on this one, but they do have like the replay packs and all of that. All of that money, or it has a section of it that will go to the prize pool to help increase this for the players, as well as all of the other stuff on there. So make sure you guys check that out. Use the codes. Make sure you guys do the extra quests as well, and help out. So
there's a caster tip jar.
There is a caster tip
jar. I wondered if I could break you and get you to say it. Anyway, hop into the game, buddy. We got to get going, Gravity.
Okay. Well, sorry.
You're so busy telling the people how to contribute to these players that you didn't even hop in. Okay.
Yeah, I was too busy looking at the Maturino page.
How's the Maturino looking, Gravity? What have we got in there?
Currently, we're sitting at 1850 for the prize pool on there.
Not too bad at all.
A lot of people using up the codes, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. It does mean a real lot to us for folks cashing in and showing these players that their time is valuable and that they're fighting for our enjoyment like Roman gladiators. So thank you so much.
And you might, if Sushi's watching, he might be able to see how many codes we have left. I think we might have like 3 or 4 left. If I have it calculated correctly.
Sushi's got to be in bed. Like, oh no, he's in Asia. Never mind. He probably is awake. There's no excuse. What time is it here? 11:15, and we're still chugging along. You got no excuse for being asleep anywhere else in the world. All right.
Yeah.
Gravity, for what could be the last game of the night, why don't you introduce our first player?
Alrighty, guys. Here in the bottom left, in the purple. Will this map, Eternal Empire, be the one that he strikes back on? Give it up. It is Asuna.
That was fantastic. Well done. Claps for the pun.
Hog champs.
Actually, that wasn't a pun. It was just wordplay, but it was still fantastic. And his opponent. Will the sun set on his empire? It is Percival. Not as much conviction in mine. Yours was way better.
I'm sorry, I went with the StarCraft or the Star Wars reference.
Much better than my choice. Yeah, definitely. All right.
He is the last hope. I don't know.
He's Black Knight's last hope, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not the last Jedi. That's for sure.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. Dude, if we were in Twitch chat right now, we would get so much abuse hurled at us for even mentioning The Last Jedi. How could you?
Well, I mean, it's not an honorable mention, but it's still a mention.
I haven't seen it actually, so I have no opinion at all, and that's how I intend to stay.
Have you seen Frozen? It's very similar to Frozen.
So, okay. Well, I won't watch either of them then, and then I'll know the same amount. Ugh.
Well, what do you do game 5? Or yeah, this is game 5.
Yeah.
You down 1-3. Do you go for the cheeky play and just kind of say, you know what, I need to just try to even things up, or get at least another victory?
Nah, there's
Or
no
do you
way,
just
right?
play your standard way.
Yeah, I mean this is what we talked about, right? When you're down 1 game to 3, it's a very very different pressure than even when you're even 2-2 or 1-2. It still doesn't feel quite as bad. I think when you're down 1-3, if you okay, so what I'm about to say is completely wrong, but generally, if I'm down 1-3, what I'm thinking is if I lose because I cheese, I'm not gonna feel good about this loss, right? If I lose, I want it to be on my terms. I want to put my best foot forward. I want to play a good, long, serious game. And if my opponent outplays me just because he's a better player, great. That's fine. You know, if I lost, that sucks, but at least I lost good. Proxy Stargate to me feels like a way to say, all right, screw it. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose. Let's just get the hell out of here and get a beer.
Yeah. I mean, because you're still guaranteed the money, regardless if you win or lose. But getting that extra money would be really sweet. And looks like Asuna able to kind of defend the early Reaper pressure there. It has that proxy Stargate. We actually will see an Oracle coming out. And what is Percival doing? Oh yeah, that's right. He's going for Cloak Banshee again. This time, no Hellions.
Ooh, the Oracle waiting here. Second Oracle coming out. Asuna wants to go for blood here and really get something big done. Now, Percival's cut a couple corners to get the Banshee out, of course. He doesn't have any more technology back here. Just Marines right now. So the Oracle should be able to get a little bit done here. Of course, the Oracle will spot that Banshee with the Tech Lab. Or that Starport with the Tech Lab. Knows what he's up against. Able to pick off some of these Marines and keep the fight going here in the main mineral line.
Yeah, this is looking really good. So far, getting 4 SCVs. We'll go ahead and back up. The second Oracle will join in as well. And we'll see even more carnage coming out. There's only 2 Marines here to deal any damage. And now even more of these SCVs going to be falling. A lot of them are getting actually pretty low as well. So if he does come in with another one or something, could be very dangerous here for Percival.
Yeah, much easier later in the game. And again, since he did spot out that cloaked Banshee, able to defend back home, left the Stalkers back home, ready to fight against that Banshee coming in, even dropping another pylon in his mineral line so he can get the shield battery up there pretty soon. That Banshee can bend over and kiss itself goodbye. Ouch. Oracle and Phoenix going to take care of that. But look at this. A bit of a change here from Percival. It's not going to be straight biotank this game. He's getting Magfield Accelerator. What?
Yeah, that's going to be really nice, especially against the Stalker style. As well as, I guess, with the Oracles. Now, the thing is it's just going to be 1 Oracle coming in for Asuna still. But he has that second Oracle. He has the Phoenix. And, you know, this is kind of a very PvZ style of play coming out here from Asuna. But Percival just super ready for this. Gonna be able to shut it down. Nice Revelate. We'll be able to see where the army is. But okay, I was thinking there was a hope for mech, but no, it's just gonna be bio. Once the Magfield Accelerator finishes up, it's gonna be very nice here for Percival.
Yeah, so the Magfield Accelerator, is that just a response then to the Oracle play that's come out, just so you can lock on a little bit further and destroy them a little bit more quickly?
I think it does help, especially if you know that your opponent's going to go into multiple oracles. Just because the extra damage is really nice, but it also doubles as a very aggressive tool against stalkers, against immortals, anything like that that needs damage done quickly. Those are going to be your top options, and looks like going to have a repeat of previous series, going in with the Viking, going in with the Cyclones. This time we'll be able to heal those up a little bit. Gonna throw down the bunker as well. The tank in a really good position here, and Asuna might be in a little bit of trouble here. Good force fields though. We'll be able to push this back just a little bit. Forces the cancel on the bunker, and so far really good. That mag accelerator has finished up, but on the other side, 31 SCVs have fallen. This is just not looking good.
Man, both of these players going hard. Neither of them wants to go home just yet. We
Oh
do
my
see
God.
a landed Viking harass in the natural. We see landed Viking harass in the main, clearing out 40 probes. Count them 40 probes, make it 42. Oh my god, this is beautiful harassment from Percival. He may have lost that main battle, but in the natural and the main, he got some great work done. I love it when you see a Phoenix pick up a landed Viking.
Yeah, it's just the most awesome thing, especially like if you see a medevac pick up a landed Viking.
It's great.
It's just the strangest thing that a ship can fit inside a ship.
It's so weird.
And
Look at
it's
this
so
though,
funny.
landed Viking harass
But
coming straight back into the natural. Percival not giving up on killing as many probes as he possibly can.
yeah, this has just been such a good harassment from Percival, especially since how many SCVs he had lost himself. Still, both players though sitting at 30, 40 workers, even despite all of that, and continuing on. Stim almost done for these players as well as combat shields, and it's basically back to an even game. I feel.
Yeah, for, first engineering bay coming down. I don't think I've seen Percival drop 2 engineering bays in any game yet. He doesn't really commit to those upgrades quite as heavily as maybe he should. Looks like the pathing on those units is going to be not quite right. The siege tank may get picked up here. Oracle and Phoenix going into the third base rather, are going to pick off. Looks like 2 mules going down. That's a bit of a shame. And they're going to hit and run and get out of there.
Well,
And
both
then,
of
oh
them
my
were
god.
almost done anyway, so they were kind of at the end of their life there. But
Okay.
still being able to get that extra income dead is really nice.
Good observation. As somebody who played a lot of Terran, I always just cringe really hard anytime I see a broken mule on the ground, and I never think to check with myself and see how much life they had left on them. I'm always just terrified. Percival going out for another attack here. Gonna try and assault the third base. I don't think Asuna knows this is coming.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He's so focused on trying to get some damage done. He does have an observer in between the 3 bases, so if he saw those kind of moving out, he might suspect. Still in a really good position. He's got, some the Colossus and stuff in position. The nice scan will go down here for Percival as he tries to figure out where he wants to attack. The tank gonna siege up in the back, and just pick up, move back. Couple of Widowmine shots will go off, and we'll have to actually force himself back here, but excellent hold from Asuna.
Yeah, second Colossi joining the fray just in time there. And again, some decent force fields there, although I would say there was a really nice pickup from Percival in the medevac to get those units behind the force field lines and then drop them back into the fight immediately. But Percival does not know the meaning of the word stop. He is adding on 2 more medevacs going to go assault the third base now, where there are one photon cannon dropping, but that's not going to be enough to stop this harassment from going on. So while the army of Asuna's sharks outside the third base and is getting more and more scary there, our Terran player is going to go full gorilla and attack wherever he can. This time, it's in the natural.
Yeah, the Phoenix will see this coming. Gives him just a little bit of a heads up, and we will actually see that army moving back. This gives so much opportunity. Beautiful Widowmine shot will go off. One Widowmine still active. We'll be able to get out of there, and not terrible damage. He only lost a couple of units there. Gets 6 probe kills. It's a few units as well. Asuna does have tabs on it now, so we should be able to see if that's dropping. And behind this, he has his own 4th base coming through, so not terrible. But we do have another attack coming for Percival. He's going to start doing these multi-prong harasses, which could get really scary here for Asuna.
Yeah, that fourth base, of course, on Eternal Empire, very difficult to hold. Of course, it's one of those bases that has a mineral line that has high ground behind it, meaning that tanks are just absolutely deadly. Let's see if the stim is going to be enough here to force a cancel on this base. I don't think so. The army of Asuna going to get there right in time. Percival not taking the opportunity to drop in the natural, which is probably smart, though. There's a photon cannon and a couple stalkers, as well as a Templar to defend against that drop. So Asuna covering all of his bases, literally, very well.
Yeah, this is just such a good play coming out here from Asuna. Really making sure that he is defended. He knows, Percival likes to do these multi-prong kind of attacks. He's very heavy into these, big engagements. So if he can somehow defend against those, make sure he has all of his bases covered, he's going to be in a good position.
Warp Prism is going
And
to
we
get
will
picked
see.
off, though. That could have been some real damage there. There's not a lot back home to defend against this Percival. Bleeding units left and right. He needs to get a sizable Bioforce, the backbone behind it, onto the ground. But as long as he keeps losing engagements, he's not going to be able to do it. And we see already this scary army from Asuna coming across the map now. 3 Colossi, an Immortal, a lot of Templar, Stalkers ready to go, all with +1/+1. Hoo, this is terrifying.
Yeah, ghosts are on the way, and there is a storm almost finished up. A couple of Widowmine shots will go off to weaken up the Stalkers. And again, Empire, this map is just so clumped up. It's hard to take these engagements. Going up, through the middle really clumps your army up and doesn't get the damage done that you would like. So he will have to back up. Does end up, recalling home. And for the time being, Percival going to go ahead and hold things off.
Yeah, I'd really love to slow down time, or if we had timeouts like it was the NFL, and just take a screenshot right here and talk about what happened with Asuna's army as he fought down on the low ground. Stalkers got caught up here on the high ground and then tried to file back around here in a very piecemeal fashion, which allowed them to get picked off one by one by these Marauders. It was a really poor play there by Asuna, and he lost a lot more than he should have. And look at this. Colossi going to get caught out. Some nice storms blanketing the army. Good spreading there from Percival, but there are so many storms here. The Bioforce weakened considerably, although 2 Colossi, 3 Colossi have gone down. Again, a bit of a wash. I don't know who's going to come out on top here.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the army here of Percival is starting to plummet a little bit as blinking forward is Asuna. He does have those Archons now, and going to go ahead and warp in some more units here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's going to go up the ramp. A good scan will come out from Percival. Going to get some good EMP shots here, but will it be enough?
Yeah, I mean, he just cut the health of that army in half, practically. If any time is the time to strike, it's now. Archons with almost no health left. Stalkers with no shields left. This could be the time. 3 more ghosts on the way. 3 Colossi at a time, but they've got to giraffe their way all the way across the map right now. Asuna can't let the pressure up, though. Ghosts out of energy, by the way, for EMPs.
Yeah, I mean, just those EMPs are going to be what saves this, or at least gives Percival a big opportunity. We see Asuna up to 100 army supply. He's got +2 finishing up, while +2 is just now starting here for Percival. So there's this little bit of a window for Asuna to just go in and demolish. The Ghost's going to go ahead and shade forward. We'll get another beautiful EMP on top of a lot of the High Templar. Zealot's going to charge in. A lot of the army here for Percival is getting very low. More Zealots going to charge in. GG and Asuna going to tie, or not tie things up, but he is going to get the victory there. Make it 2-2.
Wow, Asuna clawing back now 2 games to 3. Percival really taking some good engagements there, but just not quite enough. That is going to give Percival command of the board. He gets to choose his own map. What considerations do you think a player like Percival is going to want? I'm guessing a tiny map?
I would think so. Just kind of fits his playstyle a little bit more. But then you also have to kind of worry about, what is my opponent going to do? Asuna could get aggressive. He could do the proxies and stuff like that. So you think, okay, maybe a map that I can be aggressive on, but also can defend easily against like Zerg. And it's going to be a Sin. I think that's a good choice.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you were talking about there. Gonna be found in this map. So we gotta wait for the players to get in here before we start. Game number 6 in this best of 7 series. This series is going much longer than I thought it might today. Wow.
Yeah.
What a day it has been.
It has, and it's for us just starting.
Yeah, I gotta try and get back to my Airbnb, get a couple hours of sleep if I'm lucky, and then get right back here. Oh man, I might just sleep in the office. I'm not sure.
I don't know. That chair looks pretty comfy.
The office chair. Yeah, I got my coat. It's actually really cold in here. Um, I'm starting to shiver a little bit. I don't know if I could actually make it by sleeping on the floor here. Go back home, couple hours nap,
Oh,
and then come back for the Korea qualifier starting at 4 a.m. Whoa, man, StarCraft is a passion
yeah,
project, is it not?
it is, man. Well, don't get your hopes up just yet. Maybe this next game will be able to warm your hearts, warm your body, warm your soul, and get you on fire. Let's
Well,
move into game number 6.
that'd be fantastic. We find ourselves here on Zen LE. So once again, cleanse your aura, find your
Oh.
sphere, enter your cave with our first player from Black Knight. It's Percival.
And in the top right, showing the ways of the toss. Can he tie things up, or will he fall short? Will his chakra be in line? It is Asuna.
Beautiful introduction. Very well done, Travis.
Thank you.
So,
I hope I didn't misspeak there. I'm still learning all of that stuff, but I hope I said that correctly.
it was perfect. It was perfect.
Awesome.
So, we find these mineral patches, and I haven't seen them really come into play in a game yet. I would really love for a player to go out of their way to cause some confusion, to just make the other player work extra hard in blocking something off or opening up an attack path. I think it'd be really interesting for that to happen. I don't think this is the game to try it in when there's so much on the line for both of these players. But it would be really cool to see somebody opening up a path or blocking off a ramp or unblocking a ramp rather. Why do you think it is that players don't really take advantage of these mineral patches very often? Like not since the days of, do you remember Thunderbird LE from like early last year?
Oh yeah.
Not since like Thunderbird have I really seen players taking down these mineral patches to open up attack paths.
Well, these mineral patches are a little different. They don't take just one like SEV to take down.
Right.
It actually takes a couple.
4.
And I think that just kind of plays. Yeah. And so they just kind of don't want to. I guess the ones in the middle you could do more of, but then it also. I don't know. I guess maybe it just allows the smaller units to pass through, and so you just don't feel like bothering with it. That is kind of an interesting point that you bring, that they don't, clear the paths in the middle. I think I might do that. Start doing that on the ladder.
I mean, your SCV's coming back anyway. He may as well be productive while he's doing it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Reaper is going to get in here. Adept is just out. The Reaper should get 1 kill, maybe 2 if he's lucky. Nah, we'll get chased out by the Reaper there. By the Adept, rather. And the Reaper, ooh, actually, could be in some danger here if the Adept Shade finishes on time. Nah, he'll get out of there. I get really excited when the Reaper gets chased down by the Adept. I always hope they're going to destroy it. Whoa!
It's like the ultimate game of tag. But, Starport coming down.
Hey,
go for a little proxy of his own here.
So what do you build from a proxy starport? Is it going to be, we've seen him do a medevac drop here with Hellions before. Sometimes I've seen Liberator. I've not seen Percival do it, but Liberator out of there. Just to close the gap a little bit more quickly. But he already has a couple Hellions coming out back home. Is it just going to be a Hellion drop?
I think so. And on a map like it's a perfect spot, especially if you go out here to the end. You're not having to deal with the mineral patches or anything, and there's just an open pathway. Go straight to the mineral patches, and even though we already see Asuna having his bases or his production kind of on the side just in case, being able to get in there and just shut that down is going to be nice. Asuna is going into a Phoenix though, but it's going to be way on the other side of the map.
Yeah, interesting. Asuna's gone for 2 Phoenix, actually, rather than like Phoenix Oracle, which is a lot more common. In fact, we don't see an Oracle out of him at all. He's going for a 3rd Phoenix. Asuna going mass Phoenix. How does that play against a 4 Hellion drop? Or a fake 4 Hellion drop? What is going on here? An empty medevac? Hellions over here.
Well, I think his initial thought was to go for the four base kind of, or the four Hellion kind of play. Seeing that it is Phoenix, he's just going to go straight in and then kind of move out, forcing a little bit of a misplay
Oh,
from Asuna, but very big hits here. Getting actually 7 probes and still alive. Looking very good so far, but the Phoenix can come back home and start trying to deal with these Hellions, but still getting a lot of damage done.
those last couple shots adding on a lot more probe kills. 11 probe kills is a pretty significant number there. Now, that said, he did lose the meta. No, he didn't lose the medevac, but he did lose the Reaper and all 4 Hellions. So now the tables have turned, and it's up to Asuna to make his way across the map and do equal damage. Can he get 11 SCVs?
I don't know, especially with just having a couple of Phoenixes there. He might be able to get like 4 or 5, but with the Cyclone out, with the Marines, I just don't see him getting that much done. He doesn't have a eBay or anything like that to get some turrets up, but we'll at least have the range of that Cyclone to push things back for the time being here.
Yeah, I mean, what an interesting choice from Asuna. He is continuing to produce Phoenix one at a time. He hasn't gone double Stargate just yet. He's got the Robo facility instead. But these Phoenix have seen the bio. They've seen, oh, they're going to see this starport being built. That's real cute. Good to know. They've seen the bio. They've seen the Cyclone. And he's continuing to build more Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a really interesting style. We usually only see this Mass Phoenix style in like ZVP or PVZs.
Right.
So the fact that he's doing it in this like PVT situation is really interesting. He is going to go into a robotics bay behind this, so it could be going into some kind of like Mass Phoenix disruptors or something, which would be really weird. But getting some damage, getting a couple SEVs, and still being able to get out is really nice for him. Still just kind of a weird thing, and I guess if you're Asuna, you're down 1 game, you need to get things tied up. Maybe you just play weird.
Just play weird. You heard it here first, kids. That's how you win tournaments right there. I will say that Phoenix getting a surprising amount of play here. Percival being caught out of position again and again. The Phoenix number getting dangerously high. Up to 8 Phoenix now, and that's 6 kills. Remember earlier when I asked him if he was getting 11 kills in the game? Look at that. Boom.
He's at 12.
11, but yeah. Nice. And a medevac pick off. These Phoenix are doing great work here. As long as they don't get caught out. Uh-oh, a little bit of lag. Okay, all is well. Oh no, this medevac Percival. Oh, just getting sloppy now. SCVs have been pulled. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going for this big kind of hoorah play. There are a few Phoenixes still, you know, dealing that damage. Gonna pull the probes. Gonna see the Zealots come in here. Stepping forward with the Marines, the SCVs finally getting pulled through everything. And gonna go straight into the natural here of Asuna. I don't know. This is a lot of damage. This is a lot of meat being protected here. The tank's though gonna get picked up, and that's exactly kind of what he needs. But GG, and Percival gonna take the game there.
Not going to be enough there. Too much in the air. Not enough Protoss ground forces to defend against that push. So no matter how cute the Phoenix play was, at the end of the day, it didn't even matter. And Percival, the Black Knight player, is going to take the series 4-2. What an absolutely fantastic series it has been. Gravity, before we go, where can the good people of the internet find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RealGravity620, or you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/gravity620. I'm trying to get more into the streaming schedule, but I do a lot of clan wars and different events and stuff like that, so make sure you guys check me out and follow my Twitter to see whenever I go live. So
I got one last question for you before we go, Gravity.
Yes.
Did you choose 620 at the end of the name because it's the area code of Central Kansas?
Yes.
Excellent.
Well, I wanted regular gravity, but it was taken.
Of course.
So I went ahead and put the zip code there. So
beautiful. Well, that's it from us, guys. I am, of course, Creighton Olsen on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, whatever service I'm on. I'm Creighton Olsen on it. I want to thank everybody for joining myself, for joining Gravity. Please thank our players by going to the Matcherino page and contributing any last little bit you can. And from Gravity, myself, and everybody at Alpha X, thank you so much for joining us for the Alpha Pro Series number 137. everyone, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye now.
Bye.